as I begin recording. So, in the last couple of sessions, you've delved into the sunken ruins, a series of above-ground ziggurats and temples built by Crusata, the first necromancer, deep within the Morbog. You learned of its history and how these temples were adopted and renovated thousands of years later after Crusata by fleeing refugees loyal to the deposed tyrant dwarf king Nogdur Ashbite. Angus, you ventured here initially to speak with the spirit of Nogdur's personal smith, Bron the Blackened, rune lord of Mortholme, the dwarfen undercity of the dead, built beneath the temples. This
of
place,
my neighbouring clan, Ferguson.
Yes, I believe one of your rival clans as well.
One of. Go on, sorry.
This place has been under the control of the Black Dragonborn House of Mortithax for seemingly many decades, nearly 200 years, quite possibly, and wiped out Mortholme's previous inhabitants. Mortithax, the Black Dragoness herself, has since held contested dominion over the Morbog against the Order of the Gatekeepers. Now, she has captured Vellum, and more than ever, the need to investigate these ruins is pressed for time. In your time exploring these ruins, you've discovered the names of numerous significant dwarfish lords that once held sway over the numerous clans here beneath Bron that splintered from the Ashbite clan. Baron Din Wraithborn, Lord of Clan Grimhand, Throng Grimson, Lord of Clan Greyhammer, Nalgrim Salscowl, Lord of Clan Bloodreeve, Skag Stonedeep of Clan Granite Fist, and Oldor Blackspike, Clan Wrathbeard. You experienced and foiled a number of traps within until you finally came to one of the long-lost gates of this undercity, solving a grand puzzle, honouring the names of the five lords, and crossing an animated bridge comprised of a sea of skulls to gain entry to the city of the dwarfen dead. So, let us up.
Quick note, every time... Oops, sorry, I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
No. I'll type it in chat, you continue.
What's happening?
So... you feel free to drag yourselves back onto the map if you so wish.
I will. I have so many windows open. I forgot. Quest log and fucking.
Okay, I'll just go and drag it all on. There you go.
No, I can do it. I just had to minimize a couple things. Hurlwood is here, and he is huge.
Huge. So
Inexplicably large old man.
Just stick my rifle between your legs and pull the trigger, and then we'll see how huge you are.
Jesus Christ! Well,
That was an extreme reaction.
Well. So
Somebody's got some aggression to work out. Good thing we're in the middle of Bonesville.
yeah. So, you venture forth, treading carefully, keeping your eyes open for anything amiss. Your echoing footsteps carry through a tremendous, cavernous hall of at least 100 feet from floor to ceiling, and 40-odd feet from either side, wall to wall. Very much in the same vein as that grand hall from, what's that dwarven city in Lord of the Rings?
Moria?
Moria, that's it.
Okay, it was just like the huge room full of pillars.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, but it's styled in the vein of a long hallway.
Angus just calls out, "Oh, look at that! It's got to be at least 25 lads tall. Imagine the scaffolding."
But whose lads?
Right.
My lads or your lads?
That is a good question.
Mine.
So really about, and she measures herself, about 7 of my lands.
Perhaps. It's a little bit of a variable measurement.
You see, to your left and right, you see these grand columns, flanked by carved visages of tall, cloaked figures, faceless beneath their hoods. It's an eerie sight. These enormous statues, and there's that sense of being watched as you're stepping with trepidation through this hall. It's an eerie sight, and eerier still to know that you are the first people down here in perhaps 200 years.
Interesting.
Oh, I love that old temple smell.
Mildew?
Oh, mildew with just a hint of bone dust.
I think there's more than just a hint of bone dust here, lad. I'm pretty sure I've got more than just a hint of the dust still stuck in me boot from that little Bridges incident.
Oh, well, unless something breaks the bones, they don't turn to dust so quickly. Oh, yes, more bones.
I presume there's still remnants of bones, or are there just no bones anymore?
You can.
Do we use our bone budget on the bridge?
Yeah, you can see kind of off to the side, kind of slumped against the base of a nearby pillar, is the remains of a short, stocky figure with what looks like an old, rusted shield to one side, and what looks like an axe still clasped in its bony grasp. You can still see these sort of white tufts of hair still clung to its jawbone. And as
I'll
you're
have to examine that later.
continuing, you see another set of remains. This one's taller, equally as bulky in proportion, but the head is draconic in nature. It's kind of long, sleek. You can see a pair of horns curled on the back of the head.
What kind of color, is there a color theme that goes with the dragon-esque one?
You just see bleached bones. It looks like it's been picked clean by whatever still lives down here.
Okay, guys, that means something still lives down here. Janner let it slip.
Probably like rats or just other vermin.
That's true. Rats need armor just as much as we do. So.
Oh, so sorry. Talk about the armor, not any semblance of skin. Okay, right, my bad. You can see kind of what looks like a black plate, very very old. You can see sort of weathered edges across the edges of the plates.
Well, either somebody got lost, or perhaps water tax was the reason that this place is no longer this place.
So, with each statue you pass, you begin to see torches at their feet flicker alight with blue fire. In response to your presence, it seems.
Ooh, fancy.
And it's specifically as you pass some of them, Angus. There's a cold chill to your finger.
You know, I'm getting that sort of I accidentally sat on my hand and it fell asleep feeling again.
Oh, come warm your hands by the fire, youngin.
Like Herbal is literally right next to one of the fucking, I assume, like little braziers or torch lights,
Yeah,
whatever, just rubbing his hands together.
Yeah, you kind of rub your hands near this blue firelight. Strangely enough, no heat comes from it.
He's going to pretend it is because he doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Very,
That's
nice and toasty.
advanced dementia.
Cloud sort of looks at Angus for a moment. Might be your
Yes.
ring, and she sort of taps her finger. And then gesturing to not only the torches, but statues.
Oh yeah, what were you trying to say, Gab?
Did it not come through?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, you came through. It's just, I guess, Atlas didn't respond.
Atlas exploded, oh no.
No,
Atlas?
I'm sorry. My brain turned off because somebody else was also saying something and I didn't know who to process.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
I'll go to Gab first because he wants to ask a question. What
Oh, I just wondered, like, this fire that's burning, that's like,
Mhm.
is it blue, I guess,
Yes,
and doesn't let off any heat?
it's a blue burning flame, and it doesn't audibly crackle like a normal fire. In fact, you would notice this with your high passive perception, Salian. You swear you can hear what sounds like weeping from the fire. Ethereal weeping, slight cries of pain.
Oh no.
I will try and use control flame on it,
Alright.
and I will try and make it like a bit bigger.
Mm-hmm. Begin to weave, kind of holding out eld towards the flame, and concentrating. And there's no response. The flame just continues to flicker. It seems there may be no
This is no fire.
element of fire to it, no.
Okay, this is not actually fire. You could probably tell by the fact that it's blue and isn't warm, and I think it's crying.
Only Sayun would hear that.
Yeah, but I have good intuition. It's a sad fire, Jane.
I mean, any
Sure.
fire that is natural is sad to you, so...
Yeah. I know fire, okay?
Yeah, Grunka, flame speaker, therapist for fire.
Yeah.
Of course.
So should I do my bit again? So...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Zao sort of looks to Angus and then she gestures to her finger and then says, "It might have something to do with your ring." And then she gestures back to the fire and then the statues. But Angus might notice she's lingering a bit as she's looking to the fire, almost as if she's guessing something, but not sure she's, getting it right.
You know, I'm pretty sure it's reacted to a couple things so far just round about here. And it seems like the tingling may be stronger around certain torches. Is that right, Jim?
It's just make me just an insight check. Not very high DC, but just for my own sake. Well, with a
Starting off
28.
strong.
Yes, these torches
There you go.
they definitely seem to be reacting to the presence of the ring.
No, I think you're spot on there. Absolutely is.
Angus, could you do me a favor? Go
We've
next to
been
the
over
fire.
that. I'm not that sort of lad.
She just gives him a certain look like, really? Now? Here?
I got to make light of the situation. But yes, go on.
Go near the fire and listen to it.
I might be able to listen to it. I just want to let you know my ear's still got a bit of ringing in it back from the mine days. So if all I hear is a crackle, don't be surprised.
Just do it.
He'll get up close. He'll look to Sao Yun, and with that ringed hand, he'll do a dramatic sort of swirl gesture in the air that leads to him cupping his ear and leaning in close to the fire.
Right.
Passive 13, or do you want an active?
Because Sayun's already pointed this out, you kind of lean close to the flame, or at least to what looks like a flame. You've been seeing these all throughout the dungeon here so far, particularly out to the entrance to the Undercity. And you hear something very strange.
What was that?
Dang, that was
That's
spooky.
a little bit unnerving. Yeah, Twisted blue, screams of the damned. He's gonna take his hand and kind of like linger it at the fire. Kind of like sticks it into the flame for a second. No heat.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
I'm good at these.
24. You feel...
Okay. Sorry, boys. I'm taking the green rolls.
What the fuck's going on? You take your hand into the fire, and you feel this snap of cold as you feel something reach out and try to clasp your hand. Something icy cold, but you pull your hand away just in time, and you will see the remnants of some sort of spectral skeletal hand recede back into the fire. In fact, I think only Sao Yun and you, Angus, would notice this.
Well, he would immediately follow up the statement with, by the way, is it a save and suck or partial?
Save and suck.
Okay. Perhaps literally. And he'll just follow up with, spectral undead hand, reaching out from the throes of damnation. It's fair to say this is just a soul fire. It's not really fire. But so don't little bit of insight, folks. If you happen to notice any sort of flame trap or thing like that, it's not actually fire, right? If it looks like this blue, it's not actually fire. Instead, it's gonna do some spooky necrotic soul type damage. Probably with some dead dwarf person's soul fuel in it. And don't anticipate that you'll be able to just, overcome it with your tolerance to heat or your ability to sort of bounce a flame off your shield. It's a little different, so be careful.
Oh, but as you kind of Oh, but
Slaps
Look,
it
he didn't hear the voices, so he didn't know this until now.
you hold the meat out over the open flame, and it just seems to rot and turn black.
Oh no, I burnt it. These are very potent flames. I gotta cook your meat quick on them.
And you watch as the meat just sort of sloughs off of whatever stick you've held out into the flame.
Oh well, there's always next time.
Peculiar. Wait a minute. So you're saying that these blue flames are traps? Yes? Angus?
I'm not saying they are traps. I'm saying they're right now just part of the environment fueled by dead souls, and that makes it dangerous. But if you see a trap and it's got blue flames, it's not just a hot fire, it's fucking souls and shit. Your normal sort of, I can deal with fire remedies won't work.
Okay.
So don't anticipate dodging it, or just, as he looks to Grunka, dealing with it.
Yeah, it seems kind of sad.
You know, more like
Noted.
ghost breath. Ah, there you go.
Ugh.
I see.
Would you be opposed to calling it a grave flame?
That's... Huh. It would seem that
You could, but it's not really a flame, it just looks like one.
Yeah, true.
But I'm just, for the sake of some people, as he kind of like gives the side eye to Grunka, trying not to use the word flame to prevent any sort of misconception.
I see.
Oh my god.
I was not expecting that.
Jesus.
So can we
That's
go?
all there is for
It's
this.
Like,
Yes, let's...
you guys have been
Oh, yes,
staring at that
there's
flame for like the
there's
last
drawings
5
and
minutes.
adventure.
I thought we were on a time schedule. Like, this has been kind of an odd thing. First you're listening to it, then
God
suddenly
bless
like
Lister,
time to
keeping us
cook.
on
He'll
fucking
be
track.
dead within the 2 minutes.
Okay. So,
Let's hurry up.
I'm sorry, but Ducky's just like the thing. I'm like, okay.
No, it's important things to mull over. We do
Yeah.
have legs, though.
yeah. So walking and talking. Okay.
No, I mean we don't have to walk. Like, that was in character. Liska just standing around like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the player. Like, the
I
player
know.
found this like interesting, but Liska's just like, fuck guys, like we were walking and suddenly flames. Really?
It's like a bunch of magpies to Liska, just like, ooh, shiny thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's like moths to a flame.
Yep.
So, it's to continue on. It's very quiet, with only the ever present sound of trickling water and the occasional dislodging of dirt and rubble from above. You're also beginning to notice, particularly Saoyun will the first to do so. There's this pungent, stinging, sharp smell which seems to grow more noticeable as you turn a very wide corner, stepping past a massive fallen column. It's then that you're met with a massive sloped mountain of rubble from floor to ceiling. Angus, this was likely some sort of collapse or cave-in.
Makes sense.
And
Unfortunate, but it happens.
Saoyun, you notice a few things. High up, at the point where the rubble meets the ceiling, you can see green light from beyond. You also notice old uniform cracks across the ceiling. Lastly, you can see at the foot of the mountain of rubble, a few bleached white bones. Some old, rusted weapons scattered nearby, a sword, a few hammers, a dented shield. They've gathered cobwebs and dust. And let's see. Angus. You know a lot about Dwarven strongholds and their defences. If circumstances are dire enough, controlled demolitions of stronghold entrances are possible, particularly when it comes to preventing an invading force from entering or buying time for civilians to flee from a force that has already captured a stronghold. However, this is typically in cases of desperate last stands. When a stronghold collapses its entry points as a final desperate spit in the face of its enemies, it's guaranteed that the stronghold will be lost.
That sounds bad.
So what's everyone doing?
Guaranteeing something looks very bad.
This has me puzzled. I won't lie.
Now remember, everybody, in the event of a loose dirt cave-in, put your clothes over your face so you don't inhale dirt. And that'll give you time to dig out.
But
And
it already
Hilbert will
caved
wander
in.
forward if nobody stops him.
So is there, like, it's blocking the path, right? I'm
It
guessing.
seems to be so. Only Sayun notices what looks like sort of green light at the very apex of this sloped cave-in where the rubble meets the ceiling.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Liska's holding up the lantern and looking up at the top to see if, like, there's any opening. Like, perhaps another hallway that was above or something. Another room.
Liska might notice that Sao is looking like, neck cracked back. She's looking way up.
Mm-hmm. And as you kind of follow her gaze, you see the same thing. You also notice some of you, some of the bones nearby, at the base of this collapse. You can see hands poking out from beneath the stone. They're sort of claw-like. A few of the nearby skulls appear to be both dwarven and draconic in appearance. And this does indeed look like an intentional cave-in to you, Angus.
That makes sense.
I guess it was like I said earlier, that the dragon fellas seem to have attacked and driven out your people. Well, Aspite's people.
It's true. It really is a deliberate cave in here. This kind of adds to what I was saying earlier about that room we were in before that was spouting the toxic gas. There's a lot of those chambers and they all sort of funnel into fewer and fewer paths, and if you can't manage them all, you just cave some in. Not a lot of folks have the ability to just touch stone and shape it and make doors and whatnot through the rubble. So unfortunate.
Well, can you do something about this? And she motions to the entire cave-in, or like, will we have to go up? And she motions towards, like, with the light to the opening and potential green. Do you say green light or green flame above?
A faint green light.
What up there? There's
I
like,
unfortunately don't seem to have my stone shape ready for today. I'm a little more prepared for dragon shenanigans. So...
I prefer that, you know. How often do you deal with the cave-in versus how often do you deal with a dragon when you're in a dragon's lair? So,
This is
you
true.
know.
Now sort of gives a look to, you know, everybody, and then she just sort of... So...
I think we have to
Powder?
go up. Either that, or I can start carefully removing stones.
Oh,
How
I love
about-
digging.
Kronka, you have your climbing equipment, yes?
Oh, yes, I think so.
When I say sloped, sure, I should have established this earlier. It's a 45-degree slope, so it can be kind of climbed with little bit of effort, but nothing you'd need to roll for.
Oh, okay.
It's like half speed.
Pretty much, yeah. So, Liska, you've climbed a number of mountainous slopes like this before. You could very easily climb it without much effort.
Yeah, not even half speed for Liska. Liska's just like doop doop doop.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's no to use a phrase. There's no angle of incidence. So like a good example is like a sand dune. Whenever sand is left alone and it's piled together, it creates a specific angle, and if you disturb that angle, it starts sliding again until it reaches that angle one more time. Like, does it appear like that, or are these just kind of like big bulky stones that happen to settle as they were?
The likely big bulky stones that happen to settle as they were. And it's with your bypass perception zone, you kind of the rubble appears to be more granular as it reaches the peak, with some little bit of time and effort. It could be cleared, or at least at the apex it could be cleared.
Well, Liska is going to, with her, I guess, mountain folk intuition, does it seem like tying a rope and potentially pinioning does it seem like these things are big enough and awkward enough that someone might potentially fall? I know you said that we wouldn't require equipment, but does it seem like this is a better safe than sorry kind of scenario?
Potentially, yes. You could certainly make use of pittons to more safely secure yourself from falling. These are fairly hefty boulders, but like I said, they kind of become more and more granular as they reach the top.
Okay. Yeah. So Liska's going to
leave Webby back at the thing.
Yep.
Oh, Webby's not coming with you?
Oh no, Webby's back at the steam hammer.
Okay then. One less token I have to worry about.
Yay! And also, Webby is safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ain't
Alright.
bring him in here.
So yeah, Liska's just like, okay, well, I have rope. Kranka, do you want to get, because it's the pretty big boulders, do you want to get, I can get your pythons out, pitons. I do not remember how they are pronounced in common. Triton.
Sure. Let me see. Piton.
Piton, as Google says.
Piton, there we go.
Python. It's a metal spike you jam into a wall.
Yep. Right, so Liska will, I guess, take the metal pitons and some rope, and she's going to, quickly mountain goat style, hop up, and every, I don't know, 15 something feet, she's going to put one down and she's gonna place one down, tap it a little bit into the stone with her shield, and then she's gonna stomp on it to get it a bit further deep in there.
And this is probably one of the first times you've seen Liska be this agile for as big as a juggernaut of a woman she is surprisingly agile going up this slope of rubble.
Well, they're not called mountains for nothing then.
Apparently not.
And yeah, she is going to use, I don't know how tall like the slope is, but
Yeah,
about every 15, 20-ish feet.
It's about
she's
it's about 100 feet from floor to ceiling.
Okay, 100 feet to floor to ceiling, 45-degree angle. Oh god, maths.
Yeah. Oh no.
Done.
Trigonometry. Ugh.
Hold on while I do it.
Oh no.
X times 1. Okay, 45, 100 feet up. 100 times square root of 2. Okay. This makes no difference. I'm just curious about it now.
Okay.
So sorry.
I mean, D&D, definitely a math game, so...
Yep. All right, 141 feet. So 140 divided by 15-ish.
Sure, I'm glad we got smart people here, so I don't have to do any thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, seven pitons, and Liska does all, like, she goes through, makes sure the rope, like, realizes that she might run out of rope, so she ties another, like, to it, and then she's gonna keep going.
Now, about two-thirds of the way up, it's getting more and more difficult to find any sort of secure angle to put your pitons at. It's because again, the rocks are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually it's just like gravel.
Okay. In that case,
but she's a mountain folk lady. Doesn't she also ignore difficult terrain?
Yeah,
that's why she's having
pitons in for the rest of us to get up.
Yeah, this is for y'all's sake, not for hers. At this point in time, where she is at, and she's like hooked the lantern on the front of her shield, like and of course the sword is sheathed. She's gonna hold up the lantern and kind of look further up into the opening gap. Like, can she see anything immediately?
As you kind of peer up into the gap, as you've been sort of trudging your way up, your heavy footsteps has been displacing a lot of the gravel, just enough that you can barely make out something on the other side. You can see from your current angle, you may have to get a bit closer, but from your current angle, you see some sort of colossal ravine that seemingly extends on for possibly hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet.
So this is on the other side of the cave-in, not above, right?
Oh, yeah, this
not
is
where we were seeing that green light.
As you kind of peer through the green light, you can see the ravine on the other side.
Okay. Oh, I thought. Okay, this is my misunderstanding. I think I was under the assumption that the cave-in was to revealed an upper floor, like a floor above this one. Is that not the case?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So on the other side of where the gravel is where we were seeing.
Yeah. In fact, green light. Let me go ahead and just draw like an image here. So there's like the cave in here, bumpy rocks and shit, and then you've got the cave in on the other side. Presumably that leads down. Liska is here.
I'm a piton.
I'm a piton. Alright. With a cave-in like that, can you see my little mouse marker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where among the ceiling is it ceiling again? Like, because they had there's a point where all this rock came from.
Yes.
Like, where is it? Like, where's the whole stop? Like, where's the point of stop?
Right. The point of stop would be about here. So you've got this massive void that seems to continue up for about You don't know. It just continues up into darkness.
Yeah.
You don't have dark vision. You found
I don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
That good. All right. In that case, and you said Liska's about right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 100 feet. So that's about maybe 20-ish feet away. She's 10 feet tall. All right. She's going to continue upward and get to, like, as she's going to use her shield as kind of like a bulldozer, and just kind of push gravel to the side.
All right.
Because I know it's going from big boulders to smaller until it gets to gravel, so it's like a gradient. Is it possible, given the layout, that she can push it aside to reveal something that she can put a piton into?
Quite possible, yes.
Okay, then yeah, she's going to try that.
All right, which is fairly easy to do. It just takes a bit of time. You're probably in total you're probably here for about 30 minutes doing this whole thing. From climbing from the bottom to the top, doing the pitons, the kind of digging away any sort of granular rubble to find some sort of solid surface. But it's entirely possible you can do that.
Okay. Then yeah, just gonna do that, and then when there finally is a point of, like a point where she can actually put it back into, she's going to do that, and then use the earrings to call back down. It's like, okay, just follow the ropes, make sure that you're holding onto it while you're climbing up. It shouldn't be too difficult, but probably rather not to take a tumble on this thing.
All right.
Just come follow the light, and she'll like turn the lantern down and kind of like shine it down to where they are. Go into the light.
People keep telling me not to.
Oh no.
How does he hear the earrings?
Oh, right, sorry. I'll admit the urge to make the joke superseded my brain being like, wait, you can't respond to this.
No, it was a good line. It was well done.
Okay, so as you begin to all ascend one by one, and do you all reach the top? It's a bit a bit risky. So some of you end up kind of missing your footing a bit, and a couple of large rocks just kind of tumble, ending up missing the last one of you who's at the bottom there. But eventually, you all do manage to make your way up to the peak, and it's then that you see what's on the other side, and specifically where this green light is coming from. You see this colossal ravine, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet long, and you see this spider web of eroded stone bridges crisscrossing from one side to the other, meeting at various structures carved into the very cliff faces themselves. Clusters of grim, mausoleum-like temples. Collections of interconnected stone hovels, and congregations of tomb-like edifices that are chiseled all across the rock faces. Flickers of blue light pepper this place, illuminating its structures at their feet, giving them this eerie blue glow like a sort of dwarven Minas Morgul. Amidst all of the structures carved into the rock faces, you can see all sorts of archways and walkways that likely lead deep into the dark recesses of this undercity. This ravine, massive as it is, simply this outward-facing exterior for what is likely the undercity's labyrinthine corridors and crypts. Below you, at the foot of the collapsed pile of rubble is a central plateau that branches off into many, many roads and pathways across many stone bridges. Some place here. The ravine itself seems to drop off down further, a few more 100 feet, into a bright green river of viscous liquid.
Ugh.
At least you think, as it's difficult to tell from the thick greenish haze. The smell that stings your sinuses is most notable here. In the distance, you can see dark figures walking these bridges, escorted by other figures.
Oh shit.
Oh, damn.
Spooky.
So good.
Spoopsville.
You see the distinct shapes of black dragonborn Salyun. Many of them don't appear to be wearing heavy armor, or any armor at all. Some wear noble robes, others wear simple clothing. Among them, however, you do see those that are armored, wielding tall pikes and shields. And they stand guard and stand watch around certain far-off points in the ravine. Simple guardsmen, it seems. You notice those with similarly opulent robes, what you've seen on the numerous black dragon necromancers you've been encountering. As they pass those with more mundane robes and clothing, they are met with lowered heads and nods of respect. These individuals are escorted by anywhere between 3 to 4 short, stocky skeletons that possess a glow of red light within their chests. You've seen one of these before.
Ah, yes, the ruined skeleton thing.
Indeed. You also notice these robed dragonborn being obediently followed by spectral figures. One to each necromancer you can see. They appear to be dwarves, clad in a combination of ghostly dark blacksmith's overalls, and each carries an ornate hammer lashed to its side. Now, Angus. Overall, estimating the size of this place, and if dragonborn houses are anything like dwarven clans, you could estimate that there might be anywhere between 200 to 500 people living here, in a place that may have once housed a few thousand. Ancient and filled with a dark history. What you see before you can be none other than the lost undercity of Mortholme. Once home to the dwarven clans and kin of Bron the Blackened. Now home, the Black Dragonborn House of Mortithax. Hammer Strike and Company, what would you like to do?
Zhao is gonna make not only a mental note, but a verbal note so the rest of the party is aware that this is likely not only acting as housing, but also as a general city now for the Dragonborn. However, she has no fucking clue why the dwarves are there, as in still there with them.
You're just gonna look down the abyss.
Alright. Show of hands, lads. Who thinks they can take on 100 people? Raises his hand next. He's good.
This kid just kind of like sits there and looks around, like she can't. So she did like put out her torch,
Yep,
or like
yep.
her lantern, because dim light, and also that's kind of a bright, warm light source amidst a whole bunch of cold light sources is kind of noticeable. So
Yeah.
she stowed that away, but she can't really see as much as Sal, obviously. But she sees a lot of people. A lot of us just like, yeah, I mean, I probably could, but I also don't know how many of them are like magic users.
Oh, I can tell you, there's quite a few.
Oh, then maybe like then she brings her hand about like halfway, like just like a
Okay.
little hand wobble thing.
I really don't
Perfect.
want to,
There's
honestly.
anywhere between like 200 to 500 people here.
Oh, that's not good.
If we can each take, say, 50 to like 100 apiece, we should be able to average out and kill everybody.
But why, though?
Because they're terrible. Also, points to Tacalia.
Yes.
Well, what am I looking at? Oh, hello!
She wants to get rid of all of the clan, because they're very bad people.
Well,
They do a might bit of atrocity.
Just don't damage the relics.
it is not so much the entirety of the clan, more so the head of it herself that I want to see brought to an end.
Well, yeah, alright, we've already agreed we're gonna kill her, but I want to get everybody else out of here. See, I'm thinking this would be a fantastic place to use as like a foothold, you know? Working with my visions, fixing up the bog. This would be great. Wonderful little place to start a colony.
Alright,
Well, you should make
Angus,
a fine
as much as I would
expectations,
agree
I
with that, as much as I would agree with you on that, and then she just sort of does a slightly wide gesture out to the myriad of open area there currently is. The moment we're caught, fighting someone, who's to say they're not gonna help us with magic spells or rocks?
Rock is the most useful magic spell of all. Anyone can cast it.
York
Look,
has a...
you even have a special wand. And he pulls out a sling.
Sour just sort of cracks a mild grin because that is so dumb, but it is also so true.
The shark has question. The bridges. If we are caught fighting, wouldn't they demolish some of the bridges? And we can't be stuck.
No. That's a dwarven thing. I don't think they may have the full understanding of how to destroy a dwarven craft. And I don't think the animated guards are quite capable of doing so.
Okay.
My biggest issue is that all that, and she motions to the entire, is out in the open. There is no sneaking through that unless we're going underneath.
Now,
And I was gonna say, and unless, like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to get caught fighting in the middle of a bridge with both enemies coming from both sides. That's just usually a bad thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where are we going?
now,
That's a good question.
That's where I'd like Angus to make a let's see, a survival check and add proficiency, or a history check. This is not going to be.
Can I do history?
You can indeed, and you can also add your stone gunning.
Hell yeah.
It's just not going to be in order to get where you want to go, but how much time it will take, and what other locations of interest you may be able to discover or recall information on.
Right, well, let's see. As he begins thinking quickly as I check my notes.
It's just gonna be.
Actually, is there a length in the lore?
There's what?
I'm trying to find the thing you linked me for Mortholme.
Oh, that should be on the world end, but it should be in your pinned messages. It may be a bit further down.
Oh, I might have to check that because I want to make sure as I roll and do this that I'm understanding right, because you changed years. I just have
Let's
to join.
see here.
And I can't if I search.
Sunken.
Maybe it's the
Sunken Ruins. There we go. Articles Sunken Ruins. Let me link that to you.
It was 500 something.
There you go. Just the
There
end
you
here.
Yeah.
Here goes 350. Awesome.
Off by 200
What
years.
is new C? NC new
New calendar.
new calendar? That's what I thought. Fantastic. Thank you. Alright, so as I'm getting my roll ready, did you stay again my history stone cutting in this or no?
History and add any proficiency you've got and your stone cutting. If you like, you can also add your guidance.
Fantastic. That's what I was going to ask. Since I'm actively thinking about it instead of a reaction. Attributes. History.
And
You know what? I don't want to do that. Can I use my orb?
your orb?
Thread of Fate.
Oh yes, go ahead. Got nat 20 is nat 1. Pulling out all the
It's
stops.
true. The pendulum swings.
Yeah.
It must balance itself.
I mean, you did get nat 1 on both the D4 and the D20, so...
Oh, actually, hang on. Herbert, you've also, from your backstory, you've also been studying this place, haven't you?
I mean, I've been about, not this place specifically. I just know about things because of archaeological
Okay.
insights. So I can help, but I don't know if I'd know anything specific.
Vikar's been studying the place, at least some of it.
That must be who you were thinking of.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So wait, are you offering an aid, like a retro?
I'm offering an aid.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, I'll undo that thread of fate. If is that?
Yeah. I was just thinking because someone in this party's been studying the. Okay, so
There you go.
So
Our
23. Okay, so like I said, this is not going to be how to get where you want to go, or rather, it'll be more any other locations you may discover or recall information on. So
Which is why I really wanted. I was willing to burn that. And I was also willing to burn my inspiration on top of it, because I want us to be able to find the cool things and the neat hidden loot.
Yeah. So this would ordinarily be sort of difficult to navigate for most people, but you, Angus, are not most people. A few places of note. If Vellum was captured and brought here, most likely he would be in the dungeons. What those dungeons might look like is entirely guesswork, but they're almost always located beneath or near some sort of guard fort. Here, it is most likely further down towards the other end of the ravine, near the bottom. Let's see. Now, recalling some of the information on Mortholme from what you've at least learned so far from Liska, dragons seem to love treasure. The treasury of any dwarf stronghold is always linked directly to the throne room. Most likely, Mortholme's lair is located somewhere around there. And if Mortholme has been lairing there for what seems like an entire 2 centuries, then who knows what either that place looks like now, or what it may become. The throne room is always located at the grandest point of any stronghold. In Mortholme, it would likely probably be near the top end of the ravine, so above the fort. It's then that some upsides and downsides dawn upon you. The upside is that, as any dwarf and mason can tell you, upon the construction of a stronghold, one secret passage always leads to and from the to and from the throne room or somewhere nearby. See, I think Grunker and Saoyun, you probably journeyed through one of these before during the first attack on Dune Hollow.
Yes.
So that the Lord or the King can use in times of emergency. The downside is that the closer you're going to get to the throne room, the larger the presence of House Mortithax is likely going to be. And the element of surprise is going to be harder to maintain. You could try to stealth your way through the Undercity, or you could try to find that secret entrance and bypass the crowds, though that would risk dropping you directly into the centre of the wasp's nest. And by that point, sneaking will be very difficult. The thing with secret entrances and exits to the throne room is that they are deliberately kept secret even to other dwarves. However, as kind of noted, some of you have been to one of these secret tunnels during the attack on Dune Hollow. You'd need combined wits and keen eyes to locate the secret passage.
Nope, I'm out.
But let's see. As you also rolled a 23, you get that extra little bit of information there. The thing with secret... no, let's forget that bit. Most notably here in Mortholme, it would seem that it was constructed without the desire to keep the dead in one place. Typically being the crypts located beneath any sort of place of worship is usually respectable. Instead, here in Mortholme, you can see small tombs kind of located occasionally throughout the city, recessed into the walls in these sort of clusters, just out in the open to seek. More renowned individuals seem to have larger tombs. This entire place being one big mausoleum. You think back to what was mentioned by the Jar about the set items, the Wraith's ensemble, about how parts of its garb were passed down through generations. Certainly these individuals who were granted parts of this set must have been honoured in death, and not just buried out in the open any old place. And as you kind of look around the ravine, you can see where a path around its edge leads across, around, behind, and over a series of abandoned stone hovels created, kind of carved into the rock face to your left, ending very far off at the foot of some sort of grandiose and grim mausoleum edifice, surrounded on all sides by opulently carved, if weathered, series of ornate open tombs. This may be where the honoured dead are interred. And on that note of sneaking around from, taking that point from walking around in the open from Liska, it would be possible to sneak around back of these hovels and dimly lit alleyways that are sort of carved in places around the very edge of the ravine. And most likely, given that there's about 200 to maybe 500 Dragonborn here in a place built to house thousands, Dragonborn very spread out. And not many people, Dragonborn far and few between. And perhaps that could be taken advantage of.
So in summary, it's difficult. The closer we get to where we want to be, the more difficult it will be to be sneaky. And don't really know where this secret passage into the throne room would be. We'd have to kind of get to the area and then feel it out.
Mm-hmm. You would probably have to keep some sort of eye out.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
So,
I say, Angus. Oh, I was just going to say that.
So it seems as though you have three paths to take. There's the guard fort where Velen is probably being held if he's being held there at all. You have the secret entrance to the throne room, of which
we have to find,
or you could kind of sneak your way into the very front gates. And there's also the mausoleum, which may hold a set piece of the Wraith's ensemble.
Getting all of those would be cool.
Yeah,
like above board sort of player question, how do we feel about like sort of chasing treasures and stuff in this situation? I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch considering Velen, but also not potentially a complete time crunch because if he's not dead yet, he's being used for something.
I'd say,
Oh my.
like, I'm about halfway, because we're obviously going to have to kind of go through, and we're likely going to be hiding in spots to begin with, just to kind of like stay out of sight. So I don't mind doing some mild treasure hunting as long as it's like not super in depth or doesn't get us into combat where we might be discovered.
I think we should be
Yeah.
opportunistic about it. Like, we shouldn't go out of our way and take risks to get treasure. Because we're already going to be trying to keep a low profile in general, I think. But, like, if an
Yeah.
opportunity presents itself, and, you know, chances are if it's here, then it might be something useful that we might be able to use as we go, but, you know.
So,
I'm on a torn mindset about this because, on one hand, we have a good few opportunities to not only scout out the place and remove a lot of their forces here and there. On the other hand, if we can beeline towards where Velen might be, and artifacts per that chance, we could get the drop on her in an enclosed location where she couldn't just transform into Big Dragon.
I think the issue is, like, as we go, yes, we could go taking out forces, but then, like you say, we lose some element, because people are going to notice if patrols go missing, and then, you know, alert will be heightened gradually until the point where we can't really be sneaky anymore.
Well, maybe
I think
patrols
to an
probably,
extent they
but
might be.
well, patrols probably,
just-
but maybe maybe just people wandering, because not everyone here is a patrol, you know? Like,
Yeah, we're kind of just entering the lair. Like, yeah, I'm kind of with Avon on that. Because here's one issue: we can rush right to him, and that's great. But what if she says, "Minions, get in here," and now everyone we passed by is working their way to come get to us, whether it's all at once or they're trickling in. The potential of eliminating our enemies in secretive places that we find, you know, kind of grab them, pull them into the little dark hidey spot and deal with them there where nobody can notice, is really appealing. Because I worry about racing so far forward that we leave risks behind us so that when it's time to get out,
We
we're
are
fucked.
trapped.
Yeah, I think the word of the day is opportunistic. Like, with people,
Yeah.
patrols, and treasure, like, we go to where we need to go. But if we can, say, like, push somebody off a bridge or shank somebody or get some goodies without causing too much of a ruckus, then I think that's doable.
Yeah.
What
And
But
here's
going
one
out of our
thing.
way is a no-no, I think.
Well, I kind of think going out of our way a little bit might be okay. And hear me out on this, right? We're in a dragon's lair who has searched the surrounding lands looking for treasure and tribute, sending her minions out to do it. If there's any loot to be found here, it will be in the old dwarven secret areas that they don't know how to get into or don't know exist. So the only loot that is left is the ones that we kind of have to use our dungeoneering knowledge that they haven't found, which is going to inherently be unknown secretive hidden rooms and places like that.
I think with that in mind, I definitely think we should be like, nothing, it won't be obvious. Like, if you go in, we're not going to be looking around for like piles of treasure. We're going to be get into a place, do a quick rundown of like, check for secret doors, like passageways. If you don't see anything, we're leaving. Like, it has to be
out.
Yeah, because nothing.
Yeah,
As it's a very good point that Alice just made. Like, all of the obvious treasure is going to be in Mortholme's hoard. All the stuff that we're looking for is hidden behind things.
I had an idea just now. Because of the way
Careful,
the
those are
dwarves-
dangerous.
Yes, I'm aware. It's revolutionary. Because of the way the dwarves are here and their culture towards the dead, where would you most obviously not hide a secret entrance? The mausoleum.
The dead. Where the dead is.
Well, that's a great point. However, Janner did just say something. Mortholme was designed not with keeping the dead in one place. And that seems to be the case not just in terms of like undead servants, but also like a dedicated mausoleum area.
Exactly.
I did say that.
What we need to do is probably find some place that could be like a family small-time mausoleum where they buried their dead, except it's not to a actual family, it is to a mock-up of a family, where you would hide an entrance to the king's room.
Oh, you're thinking like a false facade kind of
False
deal.
family facade.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be a thing.
Is there
Keep an eye out
any?
for that as we go,
Would this
sure.
be in character? Would this be out of character? Fuck, out of character. I want to say it, but in character, Liska would know.
This is, I'm going to say this is an out of character discussion between players, so everybody as a player is comfortable how we move forward. And then we can, as adults, sort of tweak the characters a little bit to make sure everybody's having fun.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever we do these, I feel like it's just we come to these conclusions as a group in character, but like we're actually discussing it out of character. If that makes sense.
I was just like to kind of go off of what Ducky was saying. Like, I don't know if it would be meta for me to suggest, because it would be it would have an in-game like not consequence, but it would affect in-game stuff. Like, fuck it.
I say it.
The Ducky makes a good point, like a false mausoleum or something like that. Would it benefit us then to look for someone who might have been like causally or maybe even directly related to the old king, and that would be like the king's cousin or the king's sister, granddaughter. Yeah, like someone related to the king, because that's the kind of people that you potentially trust that kind of escape plan to.
Maybe look for somebody related to this. I've forgotten his name, but I'm going to call him Mr. Sepp Bonus. Their whole deal was protecting the
Barondin Wraithborn.
No. Yeah, Wraithborn.
Wraithborn. Okay, then.
Yeah, Angus knows his name.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that name in particular, because that was their whole shtick. Maybe there's a bunch, a couple of little ones here.
Yeah, so they're going down to Descendants. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple more of them locked away somewhere. Probably somewhere a little bit more out of the way. because one was.
Yeah. I did mention that the honoured dead seem to be kind of kept in these large kind of centralized mausoleums. The dead of the commoners, so to speak, were kind of splayed across the walls for all to see in these clusters of open tombs.
Right, so there's definitely important people mausoleums about.
Okay.
Yes,
makes sense.
That's the big deal. Is the important people get the actual mausoleums. Everybody else is literally part of the fucking mortar. So I think,
yes.
yeah. I don't think we will have astounding results necessarily looking in overtly common areas. It would be ways that would be a little bit out of the way, that would be a place that you could go to a scenic area and go look at great Jormungandrs, the shit kicker, who in 1734 killed 40 people on a bridge and saved someone. You know, shit like that, right?
Yeah, I think that particularly. So there's two ways about it, and ask, or like I think there is a way about it, and if someone disagrees, feel free to voice it. But in my eyes, there's there's one thing that you want to make sure when you have a secret passageway. One is it's extremely well hidden, but two is
also
you want
readily
to make,
accessible.
Yeah, but you also want to make sure that the place that you're fleeing from can't see where you come out. So like it's not something like you don't want to be able to be looking from the throne room, and like any place where you can't see the throne room from where we would be standing, I think is a good place where an exit could potentially be. Like we're not talking Indiana Jones when he gets out of the crypt, like that, the sewage pipe that comes up in the middle of a cafe.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about something like, a door opens in a small back corner of an alleyway where there's like a 5-foot turn that you can stand there and not be visible from the alleyway until you walk out into the alleyway, and then you can go to the main street, like stuff like that. Like,
yeah, a good hidden tunnel is an area that when everybody is focused on you in your throne room, you can use it and it will get somewhere that is out of their line of sight or general peripheral area. It lets you truly escape notice. So the best places to look for it are the ones that are going to be in the blind spots of the throne room. So Raven is completely right.
Yeah, another point on that. I'm sort of rethinking the whole honored dead, somebody important notion I put up. Like maybe there's like a mausoleum for somebody who shouldn't have one. That would be the least likely place to have that kind of exit. Because if you are looking for a secret passage, why hide it in the place of the people who are like the king's protector? Because then that's
this place is really fucking thematic. I bet you there's like a non-existent fourth Wraithborn son somewhere that has a mausoleum, and when you open the lid, it's the stairway that goes down into the tunnel. That's Angus's gut instinct on, because what they're doing with the flames and the big tower, this is very much about like, the culture and shit like that. Like, I can totally see the king or somebody having like a miscarried child that gets a imaginary adult statue mausoleum sarcophagi, and that's their way of honoring that dead, and it's their secret thing, and but the masses don't know that, and it's somebody who's potentially very humble, so not a lot of people would go there if they were raiding the place to go, oh, let's lift the lid and go find fucking buried loot. Like Avon was saying, it's probably going to be a shitty looking trapdoor for like a cellar in an alleyway, you know, that nobody would look twice at. So it's either realistically that, or thematically over the fucking top. And I'm leaning a little bit more towards thematically over the top just because of the vibes of this place.
Yeah.
So
What
before we
is-
get into like that whole search and where to begin looking, do we want to go finding the passage first and then get Vellum, or get Vellum then find the passage?
We kind of need to find the passage to be able to get Vellum to get into the throne room in a way that doesn't involve, you know, one party army breaching the front, which is honestly a suicide mission.
Well, I thought Jenner
If
said
anything-
that they might be different. Like, the likely place he's being kept would be under a fort, and then there's the throne room, which is where Mortithax likely is. I thought they were separate locations.
Yeah,
so
there was the fort, which Angus surmised was likely at the bottom of the ravine at the far end, and then the throne room, of any dwarven stronghold, is located at its most opulent place. Here, it's probably located at the very end of the ravine, at the top.
So they're different places.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a dragon or a dragon expert, right? But in the mind of Angus, and he would put it in his own words, he's a prideful and spiteful bastard in a lot of ways, right? And if somebody had been taunting me and I had to take them prisoner in my special fort, I would have them prisoner, they'd be stripped of all of their shit, and I'd have their things hanging up on a wall where I can go, yup, that belonged to so-and-so, I kicked his arse and he's rotting away, and, it's a boasting point. It's incredibly likely that Vellum's shit is hidden loot in the throne room. And it's like up on a fucking pedestal somewhere,
Like a
or
trophy.
somewhere around that. I doubt that it's just video game logic dumped in a trunk right next to his thing. So we probably need to find the path to be able to get to her, just to get his shit back. I
That
at
sort
least
of
have a
brings
sword.
up the question of, like, do we want to go there first or get your boy first?
That's my point, yes. I think we need to go there first. We need to have everything set up, because when Vellum comes out, shit's gonna be out of the bag either right then or very shortly after. So we need to have all... no offense to you, Duck, but we need to have all of our ducks in a row before we start knocking them down.
That's a stereotype.
That's fair.
But I if we are going to go that way, we do need to be horrendously careful, because if we get like spotted snooping around finding the entrance, then they could just set up an ambush for us when we come back. That makes sense. If I'm understanding what you're saying, correct?
That does make sense, and that's a problem. But if we can whittle down the numbers in our favor, we would have less to worry about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because my thinking is, if we go find the things first, we get all that set up. If we get spotted, then that creates a bit of risk for us. If we go the other way around, then it may cause a ruckus doing the rescue, and then we don't have as much leniency looking for the entrance. So it's kind of a tricky biz.
It's either or. I really feel, and Angus would express that in character, because both myself and my character would kind of agree on this, we need to have everything prepared for the events of the jailbreak before we actually initiate it. Otherwise, we are not stacking every odd in our favor. And we need to be able to do that, because she's going to know when he's gone. There's, call it Dwarven instinct, there is an overwhelming likeliness that you are being scryed, or there is a barrier sense, or something that when we get you, she will know. Because if she's kept you alive, you are important enough to her that she wants to keep control of you. So she's going to watch you.
Yeah, I mean, Hurlbert's going to go along with whatever. He will put his 2 cents in here and there, but I think it is really... Angus knows the dwarven layouts and the whatnots.
And that isn't even just a dwarven layout. That's just prideful bastard. If I've finally gotten control of something that had gotten the better of me, literally killed me once, something that had taunted me, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm gonna fucking
Keep an eye
make
on
sure that shit doesn't get away. Yeah, because that is important to my ego. And if I'm a dragon, from what I've been told from Liska, ego and how you are perceived is everything.
Alright, so from what I'm understanding of our discussion thus far, we make our way to an area where we can start searching for secret passages and the like. On the way, if we see opportunity, lone Durganburn folk and find some goodies, then we will do so if able. And then once we have our routes secured, then we get your boy and blitz for the passage.
All right.
And so I assume some of this conversation is happening in character.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, like Liska, with Angus bringing something up, Liska's be like, how are we actually going to get out of this place? Like, are we coming back the way we came in, or what? Like, do we have a means of magically escaping? Like, how will we be getting out of this?
Well, I did not prepare the spell. It's called, what's the word? Word of recall? I can point at the holy place and go there. The only ones that I had was the wall, entering the bog, and I don't have that spell ready. So we can't necessarily just magically poof out. We're pretty much hoofing it, as he looks to your non-existent feet.
But my very existent hooves, yes.
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 Well, when it comes to leaving...
Would my 20... Yep. What?
When it comes to leaving dangerous ruins, usually the way you came from is the safest because you've either checked it all or any traps that would be there and dangers that are there have been dealt with already.
So here's...
But that might not be accounting for, 200 to 500 angry fucking scaly folk out for your blood.
Now,
if we killed all of them, it would be a different story. But if we're sneaking by, they're gonna know.
Well, how did they know where we came from?
Can the Jarl speak?
Oh, sorry!
The Jarl will say this. If I was a powerful magic user who's lived for 2 centuries, I might have some spells in place to stop someone from magic coming in or magic leaving. Just thinking about that. So let's say if you did have that, whatever that was, whatever you call it, it probably would fizzle out.
Well, maybe, like, this far away, perhaps not?
Perhaps not.
Should we have to... Because I'm thinking, and this guy kind of like holds up the ropes and the few pitons that Kronka has given her. Like, I'm thinking, if we can at least make it back to here, we can... Like, I can pull this up and they have to do their own climbing. And then if we can get back across that bone bridge, we can turn it off. And that will at least stop the ground units, like the infantry, from following us. Can't really associate with the flying people, but like, and we know our way.
Spell casting.
Yeah, and we know our way back through that little room of deadly tiles that Sal was kind enough to demonstrate. But there's a lot of stuff that we know that they don't.
Yeah.
So I think if we can at least get back to here,
any nasty boys on the way back.
Yeah, I think if we at least can get back to here, we will be safe. It's just, and she kind of does a slow sweep to what we see on the screen. Like, it is just this
wide
that we
open
have to
passages and giant. Oh, I wonder. You can see a vein throb in his head. He points to one of the groups down below, with the skeleton dwarves going about with the red glowing chests. And then he holds up the ring that will occasionally have a red glow to it. as we've seen in other rooms. I wonder if it's possible at all. Because, listen, right? Fucking... We're far away. It's hard to see detail. If we're cloaked up, and there's a dwarf, and he points to one of the other dead dwarves we saw before with the white beards and the skeleton, leading you around, who kind of looks like that, and he can glow blue as he gestures to his armor, or have a little red glow or accents or something, who's leading a group of darkly covered people in a robe who's just walking along like they belong there. It's like you said, not everybody's a patrol. And we've got the Dragonborn, no offense to you, but if you walk first and we just smear some schmutz on you so your scales look black, most won't probably be able to tell, because we got hoods up, and we're, 300 feet away.
Oh, I have something for that.
He's just gonna rummage in his robes and pull out, like, some of the ashbite robes that he pulled off a corpse earlier.
There you go.
I knew I took these for a reason. I forget what it was, but this'll help, right?
It was this. Good job.
The guy says there's one slight problem. Points to this because she's quite big, and sorry to say this, sticks out like a sore thumb.
I am quite big, yes.
So I do have a spell, invisibility. If I keep concentrating and you don't do anything threatening, it could hide you.
Well, how long does it last?
Off the top of my head,
An hour.
Isn't that one like... I thought it was one of those that's only 10 minutes or so.
And the regular invisibility is an hour, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, greater's 10 minutes, which is still also, or 1 minute.
Also,
yeah.
well, greater is terrifying because 10 minutes of...
It's 1 minute. Greater invisibility
1 minute
is 1 minute. Invisibility normal is 1 hour.
Oh, I'm sorry. 10 rounds of invisible ass kicking.
Yeah. As demonstrated, very, very useful in combat, but out of combat, maybe not.
Yeah, we don't know how long it's going to take us to traverse this area. That hour could go by in a blink, and then either got to spend another spell slot on it or risk.
Yep. So choose your spell slots wisely.
Ooh, what if we put her in a wagon?
Have you seen anybody else with a wagon?
I don't remember.
Halbert, make a perception check.
Sure. I can't promise it'll go very well, though.
While
I do not have
else
proficiency in perception.
While everybody else has been talking, Sao has been thoughtfully sort of tapping her chin a little. And it's just sort of blurts out almost, as if asking out loud if anybody else had the same thought. If Bronze Dwarves that lived here was loyal to the Awakened, and so are the Dragonborns, why did the Dragonborns off the Dwarves?
That is a very good question.
Out of character, I think I know the answer, but Herbert wouldn't.
I don't...
Hmm.
The Deep Dwarves weren't necessarily loyal to the Awakened. They were loyal to Ashbite, who was a tyrant and conflicting king. I don't think the Awakened thing was something inherent to him. I think that might have been something that developed. Janner, is there anything I can do to kind of confirm that? Because I remember, even with the Awakened, things happened later on with what's his name that I forget, the big-eyed Willy that we fought.
That'll be Necrathis.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he or no, the Warlord.
Oh, the Oh no, that was a Tharadol Ashbite, a direct descendant of Nogdur.
Yes. He did stuff. And he was doing things. I don't know if that is common for everybody. And I don't know if he's with the correct god for it. Because he was following the Beholder ones, which I don't think are the Awakened group.
So he was I don't think Angus would know this because he wasn't here for that. But to kind of refresh all the rest of you, this Tharadol Ashbite was under the sway. He was a harbinger to Baal Hadar. No, sorry, he was he was under the sway of Necrathis, who was a harbinger to Baal Hadar. Necrathis was seemingly working with some sort of figure in the mirror.
Yeah. But is there in dwarven knowledge? You know, I might have to roll because he's stricken. It's a bit of forbidden stuff. But did he do shit that was aligned? He being Nogdur. Was he aligned with the Awakened, or was he just a cannibal king?
You can make a history check. I'll say, oh, well, it wouldn't even need it. 25. There were rumors that, you know, not necessarily him being, well. There were rumors that perhaps it wasn't Nogdur himself that immediately adopted the Awakened's beliefs, but rather Bron the Blackened himself may have been whispering into his ears.
It could make sense, considering he worked with dark curses and
you also remember back to those churches and temples you found in the Moorbook, specifically the first church you saw, the first dwarven-built church, and also the temple that you first fought Mortithax in, a temple dedicated to the construction of runic undead, under the tutelage of Bron the Blackened himself. There was a statue of Kusata there.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a guaranteed thing, but if they came here, it's very likely that this following then, which was led by Bron the Blackened, was Awakened aligned.
It would seem so. Which is even more perplexing. Why would these Dragonborn try to chase out Bron and his followers?
Well, they both seem to believe in the Awakened, as he answers to Stallion. It could be as simple as a territorial dispute. It might not have anything to do with ideologies beyond, I'm a big powerful dragon, I have the right to all your dwarven shinies, and the dwarves being prideful and going, no, we are the great descendants of such and such, true rulers of the kingdom, we don't pay tribute to you, we have the right to be here. Conflict ensued, and the Dragonborn won. Because if they're both of the relatively same ideology, it doesn't make sense why they would, you know, fight unless it's for something not related to that. And, you know, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And the first one that comes to mind is often the most likely. Am I remembering correctly that she made the bog shit?
What that Mortithax made the bog?
Yeah.
No.
Or was that Kusada? That was Kusada, excuse me.
That would have likely been Kusata, who initially.
Yeah,
kind
and
of,
his followers. Yes.
Yeah, and then
she just made it
yeah,
worse.
Now I recall.
Yeah, and then further worsened by Voldis and yeah.
Yes.
Free real estate.
Real estate. Okay. So yeah, he just replies in kind like that to Sayu. Pretty much thinking it was just a tribute or a territory dispute, because dragons are prideful creatures that would demand those things, and dwarves are prideful creatures too. Butting heads just make sense to me.
Checks out.
Right, so
What's Gronka doing during all of this?
yeah, what's hey, what the Gronka doing?
He's probably just kind of been looking at. He's probably gonna be been looking at all this, kind of looking down, trying to think how deep it goes.
Just make me a perception check. Not a high DC. Just to see how far you can see down into the mists below. 12, not bad. Maybe 200-300 feet.
I'm just gonna look up to see how far that goes.
Probably about another 300 feet up before the mist kind of finally claims it.
You would really.
Now you're used to like underground large ravines, but you've never quite seen one like this, not to this extent.
Yeah, look, it's trying to think. Did we really go this deep down?
My headset died when somebody talking.
Oh no, it's just me. Did we actually go this deep down? Like 300 feet down?
It was it was easy. It was easy to lose track. You spent a couple of hours descending.
Yeah, if it's been hours,
most likely, yeah. So, Hammerstruck, what's the plan?
Well, Liska's gonna start with the pitons, and she's gonna start heading down, like forging a path downward.
Okay.
And with that, like, also provide the path to get back up, you know, like for when we come back, if we can't come back this way.
Alright, so making sure to keep as out of sight as you can with the dim light. You make your way down bit by bit. You without dark vision, it's more difficult than others to sort of see where you're putting the pittons, but you're able to do so with some difficulty. But you do make your way down towards the small plateau there. You kind of scurry your way behind a large boulder and kind of gesture for everyone else to follow.
Is anyone wearing the corpse uniform? If we're disguising, it helps to have one with the insignia on it.
We do have those emblems out, so that will help.
Dwarf man.
Does anyone have any charcoal? Says Dicalia.
Looks into a little bag. I do have some.
I have chalk. I have lots and lots of chalk.
Sa just states outright.
Sorry, what was that?
I have a pound of charcoal.
I hope to disguise my scales. We are doing this.
Oh, you're black scaling. Okay.
Wow.
Just slow look. Okay, that was.
Oh,
Look, somebody had to make the joke.
It's just culturally appropriate.
Oh no, yeah, guys.
Look, she's the one who's doing it, not me.
That's
I'm
not
the wrong
that's not
one
a
here.
thing in this world. That's not a thing in this world.
No, no.
It's not.
Wow. Wow, the name racism is a thing, huh? Okay.
No, racism doesn't
No,
exist. here, that's
speciesist
silly.
is a thing. Racism
Yeah.
is not. Though I'm sure there
I
actually
was-
is some racism, but
Zao sort of looks
Never
at
underestimate humans.
Talia. Zao looks at Talia with a sort of skeptical eye. Just okay. I get why you would want charcoal, but you are aware it's gonna rub off rather fast, and with how bright your scales are in comparison, that's gonna stand out even more.
Do you have any better suggestions?
Deshar, do you perhaps have any disguise spells?
I do, but I don't have them prepared. I was ready for fighting more attacks again, not sneaking around.
What if you
Even so,
does anyone have like a cloak maybe? Because if you cover her up as much as possible, then just kind of do a little coaling on the visible parts like the hands and feet and snout, and maybe that'll be enough.
well, how about Enliska looks to Angus like, Angus, I know you keep that bacon grease on you at all times. What if we just mix some charcoal in with grease, and that way it won't rub off?
He's slowly reaching for his bag of coal and pulling out some lard.
His bag of greasing.
Boy, dirt here is also very,
Tastes
very
like
dark.
I just tried it last night.
If it works.
I mean, you'll smell delicious.
That's gonna be another issue then.
Smelling delicious.
Imagine you walking around smelling like a kitchen.
Can't one of you
Oh, I
magic
couldn't
users?
imagine.
Can't one of you magic users and she just waves her fingers make it smell not good? Isn't that
Sounds like
something
really
you
Got
could do?
the who has the predisposition?
Yeah, that's spell.
Prestidigitation.
you mean
That's
precipitation?
the
I
Oh
do-
no.
I do not have that one prepared. I was ready for a fight, not this.
Well,
Aren't
you're
we
unlucky
in a
because I do.
Aren't we in a city full of the undead? I don't think anyone's gonna notice some grease smell.
Maybe.
Perhaps if we just keep
Actually-
our distance.
Hopefully.
That actually makes things a lot easier. In a way. Okay, out of character question, Janner.
Mm-hmm.
Prestidigitation says I can instantly clean or soil an object no larger than 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
I can have. In what way do I soil the object? Because I could technically cover Takalia's scales with dirt.
Did
Are you
also change what
objectifying her?
smells weird things?
You could. There's lots of dirt around. You could probably soil her scales with brown dirt, if that's what you want to do.
Is she bigger than the feet square?
Yeah. She's about 6 feet tall.
So
But also with prestidigitation, it's usually it's not like mending where if it's bigger than that you can't do it. It's just you just take a bit at a time.
it also said object, not people.
Yeah.
But what you
Unless
could
you're gonna
do-
soil individual scales, then maybe.
what
an
you
issue.
could do is you can
Soil the
soil. Yeah, I was gonna say you can soil the grease and use that.
Yeah.
Because I assume, I mean, it could happen, but I assume that Angrim didn't pull out a chunk that was bigger than the 1 feet square of lard.
No.
Character
The
question,
rest of that's
He
back.
could if you need him to.
Doesn't
Yeah,
Argrim
yeah,
have? Doesn't his alchemical jug have lard as one of them?
Pull it to Kalia.
Ale?
It's greased this dragon up.
covered with grease and lard and fucking charcoal.
I mean, you could do that. It's just, at a distance it might look convincing, but once you get up close, the jig's up.
I mean, if we get that close to anyone anyway,
oil.
we'll just murder them.
We
I could
wanna
do
light her on
mayonnaise.
fire.
In vain.
Like it's all like all this is in dim
We don't want
light.
Tagalia to be white, okay?
Yeah, all this is in dim light. Like if you put enough
Yeah.
charcoal in there, like it'll turn.
By
it,
the way,
like, dark and matted.
if they're not near an actual light source and they're just relying on their dark vision, they can only see black and white.
Dragonborn don't have dark vision.
Yep, it's true.
Then everything's gonna be tinted blue.
That is true.
That's true. So even if it does shine through, her scales are blue anyway, and they'll just think it's the lanterns. Cool. All right. Priest Tagalia up.
All right then. So you take the charcoal.
So-
Sorry. Go ahead.
How much of my charcoal are we gonna grind up? Because I only have 1 pound of it.
I think you would need to use that entire pound.
I mean, we can
Well, I don't know,
supplement
like,
it with some
charcoal
nice
goes-
dark dirt if you want.
Yeah, like charcoal goes, like a little bit of charcoal goes a long way. Like, I think, especially with how light charcoal is, like a pound of charcoal is more than you think.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say like take off just half of that charcoal for me. So put it like this
Alright.
is 0.5.
If we supplement it with dirt, could we make that a quarter?
You know what? Yes. I will allow it.
Hell yeah, practical solutions.
Practical solutions for practical answers.
So
I mean, if you want to. I mean, I'm trying to save you some charcoal, that's all.
so
Yeah, I'm aware.
so using let's see, 0.25 pounds of charcoal, some dirt, like a kind of handful of dirt, and prestidigitation to not completely cover her, but kind of have her don the robes and only have where her hands show and her face shows beneath the hood. You're kind of coating her in this sort of black ichor substance that you've managed to create here.
This poor woman. I love that none of us have taken any precautions to this effect, but like we're just slathering her in dirt charcoal grease.
All right, so it takes a little bit, maybe like 15 minutes to do so, but
Pork preparation.
yep. As you finish this up, she doesn't look comfortable, but kind of accepts it as necessary. She, well, suppose this will do. Thank you. What of Liska here? Are we casting invisibility on her?
Yes.
Can I maybe like let's go like kind of stairs? Have all the dragonborn that we've met have tails?
Yes.
Okay.
And Tikalia also has a tail. Yes.
Okay, Liska's gonna be like, maybe. Do you have like? And she holds a hand up in front of her face. Like, can you like maybe? Is there like something that can give me a snout, or maybe I can wear one of their helmets? Because these, and she like points to her horns. Like, we've seen dragonborn with horns. Like, and maybe if I wrap up my tail, then that's what kind of causes her to go like, nah. like maybe it could look like a dragonborn tail. Like, I don't know. Oh, but the hooves. Fuck. Okay. I mean, if I don't want my magic people to waste spells, but if you do think that we can do this through a non-magical means, then I guess invisibility will work.
I mean, is anyone good at disguising or have a kit to make one?
Liska shrugs.
No.
What?
Nope.
I think
Check my bag for a moment.
Sayun, I believe you have a thing that you can do where you can create a some sort of tool set for any occasion.
Give me a hot moment.
Here we go. The right tool for the job.
Yeah, I'm literally just trying to do an RP thing.
Oh, okay.
Chill.
Hey, let's chill. Chill, across the board.
Chill's fun. Except for
Ow.
chill touch.
It looks like she's rummaging through her bag of holding and pulling out bits and parts of her various toolkits from what looks like various sets of small implements. Like, you think that some of it is part of a thief tool set, others tinker's tools, and other material you're not quite sure what are. And then she sort of huddles down and tinkers. Slowly but surely. And
Yeah, so
in this process, she just looks up and just says, "Alright, I might need like an hour to do this, but you guys can keep talking and planning."
There's
This is
a
done.
visible swish of light across Angus's bald head as he has a thought. I've got an idea. Why don't we take some of the scales off Mortholme, right? Combine it with some of the lard and whatnot I have, as a little makeshift glue. Put them on some cloth or something and just wrap it around the bits of exposed Liska. Actual black scales are visible, and it binds her up. People won't be looking real close, but all they'll see is some black scales. And, she's a big, scary, scaled dragon folk.
I do have a. Don't ask, but I do have a dragonbone skull.
I mean, I don't know if we need the skull. She can't really wear it like a mask.
But, It was the idea, though. Just the thought.
It's not a bad idea. But I don't know.
What about Enliska? What about Enliska pulls out Mortothax's skull?
That's
could
a
wear
bit
this.
too big, I think.
Oh, okay.
Good idea, though.
Like, fine. And she kind of shoves it back in.
Sao just sort of peeks up for a moment from her tinker work and just looks at Liska with a sort of deadpan face. 1. Do you really think a skull that size would not incur a bit of curiosity on some of these dragonborns? And 2, a skull that size and scales that black. I'm gonna give you 2 guesses as to whom they're gonna think you are.
Mortothax's champion?
Either a champion or herself. Neither is gonna be, Delphi.
No, fine. Okay.
I mean, it's a good idea to intimidate somebody, but not now, okay?
I mean, once we get through this and it survives, sure. Alright, let me give you the dagger I got from, Oh, okay.
Liska is very much armed.
Oh yeah, and
Depending on
yeah,
going
sure.
to be honest.
he watches to kind of catches it in midair, and as she kind of pulls up the hood, she, from a distance, could look fairly convincing.
Oh, she changed.
Yeah, no.
No,
There you go.
I'm not gonna blast
That'll
it, don't
do.
worry.
That'll do.
Yana, did you have that at the ready, or did you just bullshit your way into that?
I think you just grabbed one of the other ones and just worked with
One
it.
of the boys.
I'm gonna give Jan benefit of the doubt and said he had it ready.
Yup, sure.
You have no idea what the library of tokens that I have at my disposal. Shout out to Forgotten Adventures.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to
in all
those people who watch
seriousness,
this.
in all seriousness, in order to make a disguise kit, I need an hour to tinker with my shit.
In that case, do we want to go back up over, since Liska took the time to allow us to, do we want to go back over and just be out of sight for that?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Short rest as well for anyone who took some damage in that gas room fight.
Yeah.
Question on that. The temporary maximum life that we lost from entering this place, right? That only returns on long rests?
On a long rest.
What I thought.
Alright. You can take a short rest behind the rubble there if you like. If that's what you want to do.
I'm down, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay then.
Do I want to spend a hit die to recover 1 hit point?
Maybe. And Arngrim can do his little cooking thing, can he? For like a few people?
Yeah, during a short rest.
Gets
And if you
scrapped.
spend a hit die, you get 1 free additional D8.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
And,
I think I'll save
yeah.
my hit die.
Okay, so yeah, we'll say very, very cautiously again, keeping to the dim light. You pull your way back up over the rubble down to the back side of the cave-in, and you are free to take a short rest here. So spend any hit dice you want.
As a quick note, I forgot to mention this at the start of the session. I may have to briefly dip at about... Well, for us, January, it's like 9:15.
Okay.
Basically, I got Tesco arriving soon.
Alright, fair enough. That's fine.
Shouldn't take too long, but yeah, I will have to dip.
Remember, you will get an extra D8.
Right.
Let me just grab a short
Yeah,
red.
I already have. Like, I have 11 hit dice. I don't mind spending on.
Yeah.
Like,
I also have a
Yeah,
level.
we have lots of hit dice. There's no reason not to.
Ah,
They
why not?
literally will
Fuck it,
not-
I'll spend 1.
What?
I'll spend one as
Okay,
well.
other than short rests, what can you do to... Well, how can you expend your... Well, don't forget, you're getting a free D8.
oh no, he only had
I
one
just
hit
love
life.
that I rolled
like
a
hit point
1,
down.
and that's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, God.
I'm just
I
gonna
don't
pop my-
think I can heal. Well, I might be able to, because I'm only 7 off, so I could. How do I spend a hit die? From the character sheet.
So you go, you click the little bed and you take a short rest, and then it will give you like a little pop-up screen, and that's just you roll
Or,
a hit.
or
Oh,
to
I've
the
been
right
clicking
of
the
your
hit by
health.
number and then
yeah, to the
roll
right of
it.
your health, it has a number, and that's your hit dice.
Yeah.
You can click on that, and it brings up, and you can add like situational stuff, like 1d8 from stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah. It just I just did a short rest thing, and it just did it automatically with the extra die.
He did not do it for me, but
Me neither.
but also short rest. I mean, it is good to just get the short rest out because, like fighters, my stuff comes back on a short rest. So, like, yeah, it's good to take. And as a cleric, your channel divinity comes back on a short rest too.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so as
Right,
you all
so-
Turn a dead.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
shit.
Doc.
so you all begin to
I'm trying to figure out how to actually roll die, Jenner.
well, on that note, as you all kind of take your short rest here, Angus, you're feeling a bit restless, and that cold sensation on your finger that you've been feeling throughout this entire place, it's growing more noticeable.
Oh, that's not great.
And
Oh.
even as you're eating your meal here, your kind of brief meal that you prepared, there's still that rumbling in your stomach, and you are unable to recover hit dice.
Oh shit.
What the fuck?
It's a
I'm
curse!
unable to use my hit die. Okay.
Unable to regain hit points through hit dice.
Oh,
Well, at least that solves one problem. You don't have to figure out how they work.
They probably didn't work because of this.
that would make sense.
The sheet knew.
I mean, I'm sure Janet has like a condition set to it, so.
As you're kind of looking over the various bones here at the foot of this rubble, stomach growls.
Is he gonna start eating people now?
Oh boy.
It would be hilarious.
Aha, joke's on you.
Worst
None of us
part
are
is it would
dwarves.
have to be dwarves. Yeah.
I want to say thank fuck none of us are dwarves in this party.
And he just starts biting himself.
Take a bite out of that ass.
Just see him gnawing on a bone at some point. It's like, where did you get that? Don't worry about it.
Meanwhile, there's a
Wait.
skeleton missing a leg.
Yeah, he's like, look at the lard on that lass. It's like, oh, wait, what? Look at the lard on
Wait,
that
what?
lass. I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Or we could just take a bite out.
Take a bite of those cheeks.
Brings eating ass to a whole new level, eh?
Is this some
They put it in
dwarven
like
pickup
groceries.
line? Well, yes, but no.
Yes, but no.
It depends.
As in most cases, it's a euphemism.
With me, it's very little.
It's a euthanasia.
We didn't call him ass bite for nothing.
Did you say euthanasia?
Oh
Yeah.
god.
It's euthanasia. Saying to die for.
Did you mean innuendo, or did you actually mean euthanasia?
Euthanasia.
Okay, carry on.
You just said euthanism?
So, as you
Euthanasia.
complete your short rest, I believe at this point Sayun has completed something. What has she completed?
She has completed what looks like a very makeshift makeup set, except it is not quite as delicate. However, through some magical fucking means, she has acquired pigments of varying shades, along with stuff to darken other stuff with.
There's gray, there's brown, there's white.
Most of that hour was spent chasing down bugs to crush into pigments.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You'll find plenty of bone beetles.
alright. So, this may do the trick for the most part about finer details. So, do with it as you wish. I can probably help with most of it. Just be aware of, a keen eye.
I think you might be able to chop some of these gaps in the grease and dirt. She kind of waits expectantly.
I mean, Sao is gonna do that and help.
Okay. So with time, you are able to sort of darken her scales a bit, kind of grease up the feathers on the back of her head to look more like dreadlocks. The sort of tendrily dreadlocks that most chromatic dragonborn might have. And she looks actually pretty convincing up close.
You're probably going to want a bath after this, and this may be irritating for the most part. But trust me, keep it this way until we're at least safe.
Yes, we have bigger issues to deal with right now.
Bigger dragons to catch.
Well, do you think you might be able to make me look like one of these dragon people? Severe says.
Sao gives a look to Severe for a moment, and then she just sort of thinks for a moment. I can do one better. How about the skeleton?
You're able to do that?
Yes. Alright, hold on. I need to double check if I still have it. And she sort of rummages through her bag of holding for a hot moment. Is it?
I'm just thinking of the I Like Turtles kid. You just like face paint.
That's probably what I need.
I like
So I look like a dwarf skeleton. I'll come along over there and fucking mayonnaise in my mustache to make it white.
Are we just going like full trick or treat mode here?
I mean, kind of have to.
Alright.
But I've
what Severe sees is Sao pulling up a skull. However, it is a very gem-encrusted skull, and it looks pretty heavy. And she looks at it for a hot moment, just like wondering if she should pull off all the gems on it, and then she just goes, nah, lowers it back into the.
Where did you get that?
Look, long story. I'll tell you later. Okay?
No. I want to know now, as he starts looking around for his own gem-encrusted skull.
Sao sort of pauses for a moment. Did you pick one up as well?
No, I made one.
Well, this isn't it, because this one I picked up a long time ago.
Yeah, this looks very different to the one you made, Angus.
Well, I also have this one. He pulls it out.
Wait, she's had one this whole time, so we didn't need to make one.
The audacity of this.
Oh no.
I have this one.
Yeah.
This is the giant's gem-encrusted skull. that we
Oh,
got
okay.
from the-
Okay, so that's very different.
Yeah. As he hefts it up like a mini boulder.
Yeah.
The dog just looks at that. Why?
Because fuck the Akteshi.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't seem to find a skull in my bag, but we can probably find one laying around.
Oh, do you need a
There's
skull?
that guy right down over there.
Yeah, but there's plenty of bones and skulls lying around.
Alright,
How
I
many
need one
people
with
have
an
skulls?
intact faceplate so we can carve out the most of the back behind it, and then make a pseudo mask for Severe. She turns to look at Severe as if this is a totally normal thing to just talk about.
Severe is just completely out of his depth here. he's just accepting whatever's coming his way.
Sao just walks up, takes a look at Severe, sort of gauging what size skull she might need for a moment. Maybe the hood could actually do most of the work.
Like this, and he kind of puts over his hood, which kind of puts most of his face in shadow.
Yeah, just darken up the face and the visible spots and
Maybe-
mask over it.
Maybe tattoo some of the edges of my leather,
Probably.
splash some dirt on it to make it look very old.
Hmm.
And hey, undead Archer.
You know what? Once we get out of this, I'll buy you a new cloak, okay?
That sounds wonderful.
'Cause that's the least I can do for, making you go through this. Anyway, let me find the skull. And
Points back to where the other guy was.
off South goes looking for a skull.
All right. So, with some time, you are able to find the necessary components to make some semblance of a skeletal mask for Severe. Sort of hollowing out the back of a skull, easy enough to do. This sort of impromptu skull helmet. Using the disguise kit to sort of blacken up the eyes, make it look like a the pits of eye sockets, trying to blackening up the lower part of his face as well, making sure that doesn't show through the jaw. And yeah, you are able to fashion a pretty convincing looking skull visage for him. No. Thank you. He kind of secures it over his head, puts up his hood, and tries to do his he kind of goes, "Hey, look, bonehead." He kind of tries to do his best impression of a shuffling skeleton.
Ruka pushes him off.
There is no ledge here, but you kind of shove him for a moment, and surprisingly enough, he remains in character.
Oh no!
He looks very. He looks like a very convincing undead archer.
Oh boy.
So what? They just follow you, Takalia?
Basic.
Yes, that will do. You follow behind me. You are my risen thrall. What do we say?
Do you have any acting skills? Now it's time to put them on. Do your best.
Hikari is gonna do her best here. Let's see. 17, not bad. Yeah, she kind of hunches over a little bit, kind of keeps a hand on her dagger to the side, like some sort of ritual dagger. Hood over her sort of darkened scales. Yeah, from a distance, you could very easily mistake them for a couple of necromancers, or a necromancer and her thrall.
So that's 3 members of the party if we're counting for Liska being invisible. So, well, how's everybody else going to be getting there?
Hilbert is just already a robed, filthy mess with horns, so he could probably pass.
I mean,
that could be.
The robe does thankfully hide the hooves, and from a distance, the thin tail could look, like an unusual dragonborn, but you'd have to remain at a distance.
That could be.
I wonder if they actually allow cripples.
Maybe you can have like. Liska's gonna look, because like Liska and Hilbert are the only like demons here with the tails. Not counting Dejar, she's all tail, but just be like, maybe if like you have that long rope, maybe if you just kind of like tuck it a little bit, like wrap it around your leg or something, they can just be like, if you just keep it inside the hem and just have it like a little bit of motion, and she wags her tail a little bit back and forth as an example, it's like it could give the illusion that the tail's just shorter and inside the rope.
Oh, okay.
And just whoop, there goes most of the tail.
All right.
Just demon things.
He has no idea why he's doing this, but he's like, the young lady asked nicely.
Yeah, and that would have been in demonic. I should say that. Yeah, because like again, the only 2 people with these types of tails.
The only 2 people with this problem.
Now, if we are to deceive the rest of this city, allow me to do the talking. I am the one that can speak Draconic.
Hilbert will say in Draconic. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I stand corrected.
It's okay. I don't look like the type, but I'm very smart.
All right.
So what again? What's Grunka, Angus? Let's see, Grunka, Angus, Dejar, and Saoyun.
Well, I could upcast visibility to make me and Liska invisible. So
The entire point we did all this was not to use your spell slots.
okay.
And also, Angus is already disguised, I think, with his ghostly bone dwarf getup with the mayonnaise.
The
I
man
haven't been
has
disguised.
polished-
Oh, okay. I thought you were working on that with the.
I have a polished head. I can just.
Dust it with some dry bone powder or something, and it'll be basically indistinguishable from, an actual noggin.
I could just be a rock that you carry.
True.
Not wrong.
Just go in Liska's bag. There we go. Done.
10 minutes of...
They're just ready to throw at a moment's notice.
I have a very odd question. Does... Okay. What is the... Like, is there... You see all these... Hold on, let me do this so you can see. So, like, all these different cross pathways and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are they about the same height, give or take?
Varying different heights. It's like this sort of spider web of different heights of crisscrossing bridges. Some natural, some are sculpted and carved.
Okay. But is there, like... I do see lower levels, like, through
Yeah.
here. Is there, like, a minimum... height, I guess? Is, like, there's stuff way down above what I presume is acid?
Yes, there are a few bridges kind of spanning the acid. Nothing like at what you assume at this point it is probably some sort of river of acid that's kind of trailing through the ravine here. There's nothing at that level, it seems, as you'll kind of peer or over the. I assume you finish your rest. You've come back out and are behind the boulder hiding. There's nothing at that level. Closest is probably about 50 feet above the river.
Okay. I was just curious because I was thinking Liska could potentially fly underneath because no one's going to expect anything between acid and the bridge because your natural
Potentially.
instinct is that stuff falls, but if there's stuff below, I don't think so. She could... The ceiling, I imagine, is out of dark vision range since even Grunka can't, see. But also, it's never good to fly near ceilings because there's stuff that lives on cave ceilings.
As you've experienced in the deep dark.
Yep. So I guess never mind. Let's take back that idea.
It was an interesting idea.
Well, I don't know what to do for myself, so besides going invisible, that's all I can think of. Or just staying out of sight.
Does Dejar have a climbing speed?
But what?
Does Dejar have a climbing speed?
If she doesn't, I have a scroll of spider climb.
How long does that
it's not.
last?
The spell, not that long actually.
What if we gave Liska a really
Hour,
big
isn't it?
robe and then we hid the snake under it?
Oh, it is an hour.
Oh,
I thought it was like minutes.
No. It's
Well,
an
an
hour.
hour is minutes, but
Many
Okay,
minutes.
60 minutes.
That'd be-
makes a difference.
That is fucking useful.
So yeah, if Dejar can... So, like, an hour is cool, and if Dejar's concentrating on invisibility for Liska, then Sal can concentrate on Spider Climb 4. Or wait, is Spider Climb self? Spider Climb self, isn't it?
I do believe
feel like it
Oh, it's
Deshar.
touch. Cool. So it's touch.
Oh,
So
there you go.
yeah, Sal can concentrate on Spider Climb for Dejar, and Dejar can just go underneath the bridge.
Oh well, that's an interesting
And-
tactic.
And because she is technically a Naga and she slithers, her entire shape would go along the underside of the bridge, which would not stand out as much as somebody walking, upright.
Yep.
Or crawling.
That is true. Also, she does
Alright.
have dark vision, so she can keep into the darkness.
And she's naturally a dark color too.
Yeah, so it works.
All right. Cool. So
Who says spell scrolls are fucking useless?
Nobody. We should
I don't
use them
think
more.
anybody, yeah. We probably. I was actually just about to say, like, man,
We got so
that
many
has
of
me
them.
checking- yeah, that has me checking my shit for spell scrolls.
Although
Trust me, like
that just leaves Sayun, Grunker, and Angus.
Grunker can go in.
Angus we
bag
can
there.
do with a bit of makeup, make him all pretty and bony.
All right,
Unless he starts eating his decoration.
gonna give him the severe treatment.
I'm thinking so, but it has to be, something that's convincingly dwarven.
The very severe treatment.
I cannot
Oh my god.
use spell scrolls as a fighter. So.
I mean, you can. You just got to hit them hard enough with it.
So yeah, I will say that Liska's like sees Sal pulling out spell scrolls and talking about it. It's like, oh hey, and she's going to pull out 2 spell scrolls that she happened to find and just never thought about it. She's gonna pull out the spell scroll for Flame Blade and Dragon's Breath.
Those are pretty fucking neat.
Like, oh yeah, I happened to find these on some people we killed. And she just kind of holds them out to people who can do magic. Like, have fun.
I'll take.
All right,
take
so
them.
so just go ahead and stick those in the party inventory or some other method of trade.
Party inventory is good because then we know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hey, it actually works now. Cool.
All right.
Nice.
All right. So, it would be easy enough to get a nearby dwarven skull, and give Angus the disguise kit treatment.
You could get away with just painting most of them white.
But potentially, it depends on what.
Little black spots to kind of look like a face paint.
Yeah.
Give him a white mustache.
Yep. I guess
I
it.
have.
Maybe even
Hey,
put on a
question.
ruined helmet just for fun. Just
I thought of an awesome idea, but then I realized no, it wouldn't work because of how the spell's framed. I was thinking, could you do Spiritual Guardian and then just have it move centered on your body? So, like, you're inside him, but then I was like, oh shit, that doesn't move.
Yeah. Sadly not. Be funny though.
So that's pretty much everyone but Sound, all right?
What am I gonna do? Just
You
read the
can
back.
go in Liska's bag. We've established this.
I guess I just grab like a straw.
There you do just a bunch of Donkey Kong rolls and you're just rolling wrong.
Rolling Stone.
Tumbleweed.
Okay.
The old underground tumbleweed.
if that's
Yeah,
what you want to do.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not dwarf sized, and I'm not really sized to anything, unless I wanna go big mode. But I can only do that for like a minute, so it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. So, Grunker, you're gonna hop in Liska's bag of holding, right?
Seems so. Although I'd rather wait until we're actually supposed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just have a.
Yeah, just hang on for. It's fine.
Yeah. Actually, that could.
I
would
don't
work.
like stuffing him into a bag, but it seems like the most straightforward solution instead of trying to gussy him up.
Actually, I mean, wouldn't just having a straw mean you should just be in there forever?
Yeah, essentially, if you're breathing straw.
Yeah. Unless there's some
Seal's not
magic
fully
bullshit.
broken.
Yeah. Unless there's some magical bullshit that will ferment it, then yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't think so.
do we have regular bags? A regular bag would also work.
You have a bag that's the size of Grunka, and also wouldn't be suspicious of carrying around.
Well,
And
No.
I have no comment. I have nothing.
well, as long as Liska's holding Grunka, he'll be invisible. So
Oh,
if I'm
hey,
crossing-
Liska's just gonna kind of suddenly also realize as she's with her like, oh hey yeah, and she's gonna pull out like a dwarven death mask. It's just like, I have some of these if this matters. Like if
Oh yeah, I
this,
got one of those.
yeah, would this help like portray like
Yeah,
either
just
a
put that
dwarven
on him
face-
and maybe he's just a very small, stunty dwarf.
Yeah, like a dwarven child.
Yeah. They probably got a few dead one of those around here.
Yeah, with like a big head.
Pretty sure with what all we've seen, they will
Big
be
ears.
discriminatory about it. So
yeah,
I mean, you could you could probably use a disguise kit on Grunky to make him look like a really short dwarf, I guess. Just kind of tuck
I
his
agree.
his ears in a bit.
I'm just gonna stay in the bag.
I don't want to wear it.
I'd rather not get I'd rather not get greased.
Just greasing up the whole party for no reason.
Believe me, it is not pleasant.
Yeah.
There's a very good reason.
All right, so let's sort this out. Grunka is in Liska's bag of holding. Just for reference here, Saryun is doing what?
Yeah, sounds kind of the odd one out here.
yeah, because I have tusks, and tusks are not that easy to hide.
Suck them in.
Just don't have tusks. Have you tried that?
Yeah, yes. Or get bigger lips to hide them.
Maybe.
Yeah, get some DSLs real quick.
Yeah. Just suck on this bee.
It's how allergic to anything. Quick.
Yeah, just test everything.
Allergic to your bullshit.
You don't actually have to answer if Sal's allergic to anything. But
No, I'm trying to think of a way to disguise her, because some kind of helmet might work. Something with a front piece.
Or like one of our mini death masks.
I have a question, and this is something I feel would have been obvious, but we didn't think about it. You have that thing that's just like you can hold a spell in an object, right?
Yeah.
Spell storing string.
Do you have invisibility?
Currently, no. There's vortex warp in it.
Oh, I mean, like during that
Anybody that
short
has
rest.
invisibility could cast it into it.
Well, isn't it part
Yeah,
of?
hold on, let me look at my feature.
Yeah,
I think
because that would very much make this a lot more.
when
No, it's long wrist.
and
Otherwise,
besides,
yeah,
you probably would have been busy making that disguise kit.
Yeah, true.
oh, it is what it is.
Just hang
What-
off
what
of
do you mean, what
Dejar
is
the
a long
entire
rest?
way.
What's a long
Tie
rest?
yourself to Dejar.
The spell storing item. Whenever you finish a long rest, that's what determines when you can do it. What? Yeah. Wow, that would have. We need to think about that more often because if we're having like a party-wide infiltration, just an item where
What does it
everyone
say?
could cast invisibility on themselves is amazing. So it's whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one simple or martial weapon or one item that you use as a spellcasting focus, and you store a spell in it. First
Oh,
or
I was
second level
talking-
spell.
I I was talking about the ring of spell storing that we got for the alarms.
No, that's the spell storing item usage, I think.
Yeah, those are two different things. One is an item, which you put an alarm into and then you can cast later. Mine is literally just a class feature version of that, except
Yeah, but we have a ring of spell storing somewhere.
That is Hurlbert's, and it is currently not of your knowledge in character and full of
Not
magic.
you.
Does somebody else have one?
We had somebody else. I remember because there was Dejar with the ring of spell storing that were being used for the camp alarms.
No, wasn't that the spell storing item that we
Yeah,
were
that was the
using
spell
for that?
storing item.
Yeah, that wasn't the ring. Like that we
Alright.
were using Sal's spell storing item to do the
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I figured out I can't actually put an alarm into it.
Yeah.
Which is fucking sad, but hey, it's a ritual spell anyway.
Yep.
Alright.
So in the future, everybody using invisibility, pretty cool.
Well, that's for future me to rubble about.
Yes.
Oh.
So, right now, let's
just mask me up and I'll figure something out.
All right.
Oh, Jenner, did you ever get my DM?
Oh,
It's still in the chat.
oh shit. You might.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Want me to DM you that?
Yeah. Yeah, if you do me that on Discord.
All right. So, give me one brief second.
Yeah. Either way, there's only so much we can do, and as Jenner said, we have an hour left, and it seems like he wants us to progress.
So
We spent a lot of time discussing our disguises, but it's kind of important that our disguises here are functional. Because if they aren't, we're in for a shit time.
Yeah.
So who is left? Just Sal and who?
That was it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I got the spy find shit, so
Yep.
Apparently.
Snack will be underneath. Angus has his spooky paint. Grunk is in the bag.
Severe has spooky paint.
Severe has spooky paint.
Hurlberg is just old and decrepit.
Yep. I fit in perfectly. Tikalia is greased up.
Is there question? Like we've been seeing a lot of Dragonborn, but we've been seeing like lesser lizard folk too, right? Like not full-blooded Dragonborn. Have we been seeing like lower forms?
These appear to be full Dragonborn. It seems to be just a simple. You can see some Dragonborn look to be wearing more common clothing. Others appear to be less armored than most, with those sort of spears in their hands and shields. Commoners and probably guards.
All right. Then I say we just again darkening Sal's face and just putting a cloak on, and just keep Sal in the middle of the party,
Yeah.
Yep.
kind of as an apprentice to the sorceress wizard that Takalia is giving off.
Sure. Sounds good.
that'll work. Protect
If I'm underneath, if I'm have one of the cloaks that Hurlbert handed out.
Oh, I only
can
have the
swap
one,
it.
and Takalia's wearing it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
well,
I mean,
do have
there weren't many other tombs with those in. I looted them.
I do have a
Let me check my
scrap of
inventory.
cloth, like a pound of scrap of cloth that you could use. Off with some, I think one of the dwarves in the temples that we went to.
Did we get the where's the party inventory? How do I access that?
You'll have your character sheet, and it's at the very top right, just to the left of the red X to
There
close
we
your
go.
character
Thank
sheet.
you.
A lot of scroll cases.
Sure, very useful.
I thought there was more in that. I remember there being a bunch of robes. Oh well, that makes things a little bit difficult. Was there any robes or anything on some of the corpses that we've come across?
Yeah, there are a lot of corpses around here.
Yeah, there was a couple of old weathered robes that you stumbled across. Nothing too fancy. Literally just
I'm not
like
wanting
black
fancy.
cloaks. Yeah.
Yeah, that works fine.
All right. And that's for Salian, yeah.
No, for me.
Oh, for you. Oh,
I have to have one. I'm wearing this fancy ass.
Mountain
Armor.
guard armor.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's not gonna fly.
that'll be fit. Yeah, that'll be fairly easy to do.
Yeah, I just gonna rip one off a corpse. Sorry, lad.
As you can have
Not like he needs it.
cloaking yourself in black cloth, armor underneath. You look fairly chunky for a skeleton, but from a distance, you may be able to pull off that look.
Well, some of these might have been armor. Who knows? Yeah, from a distance, so that's the hope.
All right then.
And
So-
I can have that slight glowing blue underneath the robe,
that's-
so I look like the rest of the group.
That's true.
It's that sky blue.
Okay, so you're looking to go towards any sort of, I think it was discussed, any sort of like family mausoleum area.
Yeah, so we can find the rest of those sets. Maybe a hidden path.
Okay.
That's one of the things I had in mind. I wanted to mention real quick. What if the hidden passage is not in a family mausoleum itself, but nearby, just as the family mausoleum would act as an indicator?
Well, we should head towards the vague throne room area,
Yeah.
regardless, because it's going to be at least nearby in some aspect. So we got to get there first, and then we can worry about the particulars when we know the landscape a bit better.
Okay. So, to begin to make your way towards near the end of the ravine, trying to keep towards these large clusters of open tombs, following them like a trail. The more frequent they become, the closer you're getting to these any sort of honoured dead, and thus any sort of honoured family lineage, which may indicate your prize. Creep your way around the side of the ravine, diving around corners, weaving your way through small alcoves, between long ruined stone carved hovels and other open dwellings. And on that note, let's see. First off, it's going to be a... Yeah, here we go. Oh. And that.
Nice.
Now, this guy, you're invisible, so you have advantage on that.
Oh, okay. You are correct.
Yeah, so
I cannot-
so just roll again.
Do-do-do-do-do.
I cannot be
I'll just
seen
do another
aside from
d20.
that. I can cannot be seen inside of the bag.
Alright,
Well,
that's fine.
so.
I'm glad the rest of you succeeded.
So, Tacalia, no, despite being disguised, she's trying to keep as much to the shadows as she can.
Grunk is breathing very quietly out of the straw.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like to imagine there's a tiny ghost steel moan of like a whistle coming from the straw.
Yeah.
Question:
Mm-hmm.
Does he have the ring of breathless or whatever, or just water walking?
Water walking.
Okay, he's
But
not the one that doesn't have to breathe.
No. I can.
Okay.
I can hold my breath for 5 minutes. So that's nice.
Should be able to hold more than that.
Yeah. It's okay.
And Sayun is disguised as Dejar is currently kind of following your general lead, kind of crawling across the walls, slithering in darkness. Which actually, Dejar, roll me another stealth check with advantage. 'Cause you are in darkness,
Right.
away from any light from the blue flames. Well,
Right.
Also,
Invisible.
I need to remove my Spider Climb spell scroll because I used that one.
yes. So, for those who are actively trying to put on a performance,
I don't know why it applied to me, but because I'm not the one targeted.
actually no, we'll save that for later. Yeah, so with a group DC, a group roll, taking all the rolls in on average, 18. So we'll say 18 for the entire group. That's what we're rolling with. So, so keeping to the shadows best you can, you begin to kind of hurriedly rush one at a time into a large, porous hollow of a cave inside of the cliff to just kind of keep out of sight. You enter some sort of long stretch of abandoned residences dug out of the rock, with sort of like a sort of T intersection, if you will.
Oh, delicious.
Of course it's tea, you're British.
God damn it. Okay. Yeah. A T intersection to your left leads off into the darkness, illuminated only by the flicker of blue. Well, not firelight, but soul light from subterranean street braziers. You kind of pause for a moment there to catch your breath. Sayun.
Yes, that is I.
Nope.
Sorry, 1 second.
Right back.
Oh. Let me just move you.
Continue without me.
Okay. Sayun. Across the way where the path sort of turns off into the intersection, you can see what looks like a pair of humanoid shapes begin stretching across the cobblestone, and you can hear footsteps. What are you doing?
First and foremost, I am whispering into the earring to alarm, party that we have approaching people.
It's coming from this. Oh, I should make myself visible. It's coming from this direction.
Alright.
Sorry for the improv map, but
Hey, it works.
you can see sort of abandoned hovels here, and a long terrace here.
Any direct place we can hide?
There's a number of open sort of hollow doorways. Most of the structures here look hollowed out and ruined. So,
I'm gonna. So I was gonna
your
ask
choice.
the party if they. So I was gonna ask the party, do we want to gamble on our disguises or hide?
I mean, what's the point of doing the disguises?
I
if
see
we're not going to
disguises if
gamble on
we're...
them?
Yeah,
All right.
we've got disguises.
Very well, I shall head out in front. Herbert, and she kind of taps your shoulder, Herbert.
He's currently away.
All right. I shall head out in front. Severe with me. And Severe just kind of gives a... Being too obvious. And Takaria kind of motions for you, Angus, to hobble along beside her.
Very well.
And Sayun, you the same.
Should I go in front or behind?
Hide me, you are one of my thrones. So, you see, as you're slowly approaching, the shadows stretch and stretch until they meet the opposite side of the street, and you can see two black dragonborn guards wielding spears. One of them is wielding a horn across the side of kind of sashed the side of his belt. This one here. And they kind of notice Takalia out in front there. Takalia simply nods and continues by with a simple, quiet nod. Do you follow?
Yeah.
All right.
It's more about moving everybody's token, in unison.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the back behind. For Deshar and
Liska is
Liska.
invisible.
Yeah. Probably just attach my token to Liska's. Because I can't really move in any way, so...
Alright. So Liska being followed by Grunker, and Hurlbert is hobbling alongside next to Takalia. Since Takalia is going to is leading this deception, she is going to make the deception check. Let's see. She's not proficient in that, but we shall see. Oh, there it is. Deception. No modifiers, just a straight D20 roll.
Motherfucker.
Decadia kind of stumbles across a loose tile for a moment, and kind of catches herself, and speaks in Draconic to the two Dragonborn guards here. And she says, which Herbert understands. Sable isn't here right now.
You can just brush it over them.
Yeah. Kind of talks to them for a moment, and they speak back to her. They both look to each other, smirk and shake their heads. One of them kind of points a spear further down the road. Then it looks as though one of the guards, the one with the horn, is trying to give her some directions. And there's a tense, brief moment as Ikalia passes. And you notice the guard with the horn kind of looks towards Sayu and gives a bit of a stink eye before they continue on. And you, Dejar, you keep to the shadows. Using your stealth check from earlier. With your natural 20, with a 26, you are hidden in sight. Slithering through the ruined hovels of past dwarven abodes to rejoin the party. And Liska doing the same.
Nice.
Oi.
Your disguises worked.
Damn, yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
did. Now we can walk about normally, and we don't have to worry as much about the open space because we're just part of the crew.
Good plan, guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
took an hour, but we sorted it out, so now we can experience your dungeon and not miss things because of silly reasons.
Yeah.
So,
I do have to admit a few things.
No one
My
will raise
God,
the
we were
alarm if
running
you
it
look
fucking
like the
close.
very much
We're
so.
making
Yes.
makeshift fucking disguises out of literal bones and rags.
And Takali's not experienced in deception at all. She doesn't do this sort of stuff.
I mean, you don't have to be experienced, you just have to be a liar.
Yeah.
I'd kill to have an actual full-on rogue right now, just so we could, get through this easier. But honestly, this is fun.
The irony.
Jammerjack appears.
Yeah.
Dude, it's Jammerjag. Oh, I wish we had Jammerjag. Our little fella. The lad.
Alright. So,
The fucking man himself.
yes.
Somewhere in the distance, we just see a tiny fucking dot of a shadow climbing up a nothingness wall. Just one immovable rod at a time.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, y'all.
Just muffled, sneaky snitch, copyright-free music playing.
So, you begin to make your way further down, back out of the sort of a side cave you've been keeping the shadows to, and you continue to scurry your way around the side of the ravine, darting in and out abandoned dwarven abodes. You do see actually a couple of them. Occasionally, you'll see it has some sort of firelight within them. They're being occupied. And as you continue your way, you see about 100 feet off, above a few flights or sort of tiers of the ravine wall, where the hovels are sort of stacked on top of each other like favelas almost. You can see a rather familiar looking statue. That the visage of a cloaked dwarven figure wielding a vicious looking dagger. Cloak billowing, or at least carved to insinuate billowing with a shadow. Maybe on the right track. And as you follow these occasional statues, you come to the foot of a great marble edifice of a mausoleum. Again, sort of lit below like a sort of Minas Morgul type scene here. And seemingly across a sort of modest open plaza, about 40 feet in diameter. keeping to the shadows behind a number of abandoned stone hovels, you can see a number of figures gathered there.
Oh, spooky.
Okay. So we'll get rid of that version of Takano. And
The grease.
yes. Who else but Hikari are sort of leading this? I imagine Angus, because you're very familiar with dwarven structures, dwarven layouts. Actually, well, yeah, because you'll be the first one to see this. You see a number of figures.
Where the fuck is Angus going?
Where am I? Why am I all the way over here?
Yeah, I was about to say,
This
he's
is
not with
dirty.
us.
I'm following what's her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I am not a forward scout.
All right. So,
Sorry, it's just not me.
yeah, okay.
Tanner, we get it. You want to show off the map. But please, let the player control their tokens.
Okay. So, you are currently behind a number of hovels near the foot of some sort of tall mausoleum where you previously saw a number of statues depicting Barandin Wraithborn.
Okay. Would anybody else be going forward in scouting?
I would think perhaps me.
Sure, Hilbert would want to follow, but I don't know if anyone wants that.
Okay.
Takari is going to be the forward scout as well for this.
Right.
Yeah, are we in scouting or are we still using our disguise? What are we doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
In this case, if I may, my suggestion is we stick together as a group and make sure that we are together as a group, because one, we've been seen together before by the guards, so they will know our size and numbers, even if
They
it's
don't know
just
about me.
I'm just saying, like, if we start spreading out and getting caught one off, that's gonna raise mild eyebrows, because so far, most of the time the guards have seen people, they're in groups. So, stick together for now, but let's be kinda curious about where we're headed.
There you go.
I'm trying not to be too controlling it. I'm just...
No,
I don't want to die down here.
Yes, I agree.
Dying down here would be a bad.
Dying is gay.
Let's not start that.
And there's one thing we know is that Ducky is not gay.
I don't know about that, Chief.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Bruh.
But well,
sidetrack.
Let's continue on.
yeah.
Yes.
Liska's not leading. She's like pulling at the rear.
Is still in the bag.
Yep.
And she should still be invisible.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'll do is... Oh! Sorry, there you go. God damn it.
Nyong.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Sure.
Having autonomy is a good thing.
I would not move your players' characters unless a special event is taking place.
Unless it's like actual, genuine, forced movement.
Like
At that point,
from
we
a
don't really have
spell or an environment effect.
So what's the plan at Hammer Striking Company?
Wait,
It's a good question.
Well, we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
start looking
use-
for secret patches. Shit.
Yeah, let's walk around, see what's what.
I
I'll
would
walk
like
around.
to, since it was mentioned, keep an eye out for more murals, perhaps ones that might be covered, anything that mentioned the Wraithborn, similar to what we saw before, as an interesting cue.
All right. So just make me a perception check.
Wait, get back over here.
As you push aside an old weathered stone door, Wilbert, into a ruined abode.
Sorry, continue with your check.
Check this.
Since I'm using this to search for like hidden stone passages and shit, would stone cutting apply?
Yes. So feel free.
Okay.
And that should be applicable for now any check,
Awesome.
just in case. Oh, okay. So for the future, I will take that into account. The 28 perception check.
Sure.
Uh,
Whenever you feel it's appropriate,
mhm.
that is him actively looking for hidden things, and potentially keeping an eye out for the Wraithborn, or Wrathborn, whatever, lineage stuff as a cue, since that was a cue to secret things before.
Mhm.
But regardless, he's just looking for the stuff.
Yep. Okay. So you enter this abandoned hovel. You see a stone table, stone chair, a few abandoned shattered bits of pottery, a few bones scattered about. The ceiling is sort of partly collapsed in, and as a note on ceilings, you can if you elevate your character enough, you can hop up onto the ceilings as well. If that is what you choose to do.
I'm good just wandering around like an old man.
Okay.
Because, like, everyone's just like, don't move our characters, and then nobody moves.
Well, I don't know where we're going. I'm playing the role of the skeleton guy who's a follower, so I'm kind of following.
Okay. So there's
In this case, since it's a player, I'm following Simon.
Yeah, new people need to, like, certain people need to step up.
Yep. Engage with your surroundings.
Tikalia is going to sort of make her way. Actually, yeah, Severe. He's a scout by nature. He's going to sort of sneak his way around the side of this hovel. Peeks out from the shadows a bit with a kind of finger to his lips as he sneaks ahead. You see what he can see.
These gaps in the walls, they're basically windows, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna sneak slowly ahead myself.
So it's taking into account that group check of 18 earlier.
I'm moving
I
bit by
guess we spot something.
Ah,
Yeah,
there it is.
bit by bit, so it's good.
Yep. So
Yeah,
as you kind of
dark hat.
cling to the wall there.
Can you attach Grunka to...
Yeah, I will. Hang on. Actually,
Yeehaw!
he should
Thanks.
already be attached. Let me try
I
that.
think you moved to a new map, but...
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
everything.
that's probably it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
There you go.
I have a question.
Thanks.
In the so you've made a point of if we see things on the map, they exist, correct?
Yes.
And we as characters would be able to see things that are on the map. Yes.
Yes.
I see a suspicious square up here, and Herbal's gonna wander over to it.
What?
There's a suspicious square here. Could be nothing. It's enough to make Herbert wander over.
Sure. It's
Carry on.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't being meta or anything. Carry on, everyone.
So, you see the ragged, upright remains of some sort of dwarven warrior. It appears to be stood upright, sort of head cocked to the side, on watch.
Okay.
That's all you can really see from this current angle.
How high is this ceiling?
The ceiling, there is no current ceiling here, just kind of extends up further into the ravine. The height of this sort of like dwarfish classical, partly ruined architecture is so much like this sort of how would I describe it? Like this sort of structure. With all the pillars there. You've got the stairs.
Oh, so it's like a Athenian temple? Like an old Grecian temple?
Sort of, but it's got that dwarven twist on it.
Okay. Okay. So it's a lot of... So there aren't walls per se? Or if there are, they're sparsely used?
It's a... You can see kind of just about some sort of doorway or wall over here. It's like an Athenian temple sort of built into the wall.
Gotcha.
So Angus will speak over the earring in hushed tones. You think the ring could interact with him like the other guys? The flame?
Maybe. I mean, it should be able to work like that. It did before.
I'll have
Do
my
you want
ring
to
at
risk it? Do we want to risk it?
I mean,
Sure.
It'll sort of tentatively peek out. Just begin to see out of the corner of his eyes.
Yep, you see what looks like yeah,
See the dragonborn, and he just kind of like
looks like
stands a little more slackly.
a robed dragonborn. Another figure is shorter, stockier, seems to glow with spectral bluish light. The robed dragonborn appears to be directing it, commanding it, and they are near a set of open tombs by the entrance of this mausoleum. The skeletal remains of the dwarven dead are on display for all to see here, and one of them is apparently stood upright here on guard on the plaza, animated, keeping watch. The spectral form you can now see is this dwarven spirit wrapped in ragged overalls and a series of chains. He appears to be chiseling at the bones of the skeletons in the tombs. You watch as the Dragonborn hands over some sort of small stone towards the spectral dwarf, which is then placed in one set of remains that he's attending to. It's placing it into the ribcage and begins chiseling away at the bones.
That's not so good.
Yep. Good old necromantic rune carving.
Alright. And this is clearing in quiet tones just to make sure. Alright, so either we can try and go up to them, interrupt them, walk past them, or we can try and get closer and get a drop on them. Because I don't like what they're doing right now.
The horrible
A little worrisome.
I would say get the drop on them if walking up to them fails.
How would we get the drop if we're walking up on them?
I mean, I'll be scaling the walls while you distract them, maybe.
Now, I'll say, as a DM, there are likely other places you can approach this from, if you so choose.
Yeah, there are several hallways. We don't have to come straight down the middle.
You can see a set of stairs behind you. Hurlburt, you can see around the corner, maybe another set of stairs that seems to drop down into this this other. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this other avenue of approach.
Peeking through these stairs. I think they wind and go up. Yep.
Yeah, that's top of the stairs there.
Top of the stairs. Goes up here, and there's Rover.
Hello.
Wait, did he just cut down the middle? So wait, what do these stairs do then?
They seem to kind of
Oh,
go.
so this
I
isn't a
came
spiral
straight down
stairway.
this way.
It seems
This
going,
isn't a spiral stairway. This goes up and then it goes up here. I understand.
and that's another bridge.
There's
That's
more up over here.
There's another
He
bridge
points
that extends much in the same way as all of the other bridges that kind of weave and interweave throughout this ravine. That seems to be another
Where's
one of
this
these.
guy?
Christus is alone now.
She's
Mhm.
she's right
Invisible.
here. She's been following close behind.
Actually,
Awesome.
I think Gronko would
Um,
technically be invisible as well. There we go.
Yeah, but I mean,
He's his own
I was feeling
creature.
Gronka could be there just so people could know where this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
That'll work.
Either way, it's a meta thing.
No, I need to have this so Liska can see. And the skeletons had their own light anyway. So I'm gonna use my light on me.
Okay. So, bearing in mind, well, I mean, yeah, you are dressed as a sort of skeleton, so makes sense.
Mhm.
Ooh, keep going,
And-
skeleton.
It might not be full light because it's coming from me, which is hidden underneath a cloak. So it's very muffled light.
Which is fair.
It's a muffled blue light. which matches the rest. There's more up here we can try and see and bypass, as he whispers through the earring.
Looks like a
In
plan.
the far east.
So, it appears that this is a sort of like a 10-foot ledge that bypasses the entirety of the mausoleum itself. So, if you wanted to approach the mausoleum from a different angle, you could potentially climb up these ledges, kind of approach it from. Approach it from here. You could potentially approach it from here, maybe here. Your choice.
He'll squat down and interlock his fingers for a little step and hold it out to Sao Yun. You got better eyes. Peek up over there. Tell us what you see. As he offers to give you a little lift up to be able to peer over.
Just my height. I'm peering up and in. I
See.
Negative 10 feet.
Yeah, I'm at 0.
That's because you're a negative 10, Angus, because Sayun's token is overlapping you. So you see a number of other skeletons as well, standing guard across the way. You can see a large stone door. That appears to be shut at the center of this temple. This is likely the entrance to the tomb itself.
I can see about 3 skeletons. Might be more. There's a large door at the back. There's a place here. And I think that is that. This way in is too open. Draw too much attention, so... Maybe if we go over here, Sao gestures.
You see a partly collapsed wall, which are rubble, stone, gravel, and sort of drop down the side of this ledge here.
Would it be best if Sao sort of got down and then we walked over instead of Angus trying to shimmy over while holding Sao?
All right. So you kind of make your way over there, I guess. So you're going to you popping up?
I'm waiting for Angus because
Yep. Well, I mean, what am I going up over?
No, you're coming over to where I am, so give me another horseshoe so I can look up here.
Oh yeah, sure.
And up deep.
All right. You
Yeah,
peer
this is way better.
peer up into an empty, abandoned hovel. That's partly collapsed. A few of its walls. The ceiling here also appears to be partly collapsed.
Oh yeah, this is much better. Alright. On 3, you give me a boost and I'll crawl in.
Wait.
1, 2, 3. And
Oh no.
a hop. and whoop. Zhao will reach down and help up the next person.
Alright. So I assume that'll be Angus.
Yeah.
Am I helping more people up, or?
Yeah, actually, if you help more people up, I can get you up last.
There you go. Up we go.
Snick can just probably slither along the surface.
Lucy's just gonna like see this happening and just be like through the ears, like, do you not want me to help?
I don't know if it would stop your spell.
No, I don't think it's like I can interact with things and help creatures. It's just as long as I think there's
who has the
like
invisibility going?
it would be Dejar.
Yeah,
And how
I'm
does she have? Do you have
Salyun's
spider
concentrate.
climb?
Yeah,
Sal's holding spider climb.
Okay.
For me. Yeah, so.
Sivir's gonna just climb up because it's yeah.
Okay, we'll help the other ones up. I didn't know if that would break your spell.
Yeah, so Liska's just gonna, like, people are gonna feel invisible hands, just like lifted, kind of pop them up.
Wait, wait. You fucking damn it. There we go.
So basically, this is lifting us up, right?
Yep. I would imagine so.
Oh, I can fly!
Alright, so one by one, you all hop up.
And Liska's gonna go up and do her thing.
Alright.
I guess that's 0 feet? There we go. Okay. Or, oh, you moved me. Okay, cool.
So let me just,
No, it's fine. I
there we go.
didn't know what I needed. There we go.
Okay, so you're all hopped up here. What would you actually do?
I am going to peek out this doorway, and keyword peek.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to, go full ham.
Alright.
So do I open it?
Yeah,
or...
just open it for the meantime.
Alright, peeking through. Yeah, I see the 2 guards on the mausoleum door. I see the guy there. I see Runesmith doing stuff.
You watch as the runesmith. He watches the skeleton he's working on begins to stir. And with one final clang of his spectral hammer, the dwarf finishes inscribing runes into the remains. And you know they're runes because you have your goggles, you can see this. The soul stone begins to rapidly spin inside of the ribcage and glows a deep red, as do all of the runes inscribed into the bones. The new skeleton stirs and comes to unlife.
Now is taking a slight moment to just brace herself, and then she looks back to Angus and alright, he is literally just reanimating the dead.
Alright.
There are 2 guards by the mausoleum door. There's one not too far from us. Then there's the guy further down that we saw earlier. And there's the dragonborn, and then there's the spirit. Now, a ruined skeleton.
which is the
That's fun.
Dragonborn. Looks towards these skeletal dwarves. Gestures with his hands a bit. And makes his way inside.
I got inside.
Indeed.
You know what's funny? Was it the dwarf rune carver that made the undead one?
I
He wiggles his ringed hand. They might listen to the ring of their king more than they'll listen to the dragonborn.
maybe.
Well, let's only use that as a last resort for right now.
Oh,
Let's
of
just try
course.
to not have any
Watches the
confrontations.
spectral runesmith makes his way over towards another nearby tomb. And begins working away at another set of remains.
Right, he's making another. So,
What's everyone doing?
plan of action.
Yeah, what do we want to do here? We've got some skeleton guys that are getting animated. Dude's gone on to another one, it seems like. The big door's there. How do we want to approach this? Do we want to see if we can get by without it being combat? Because they don't necessarily seem like they're guards. They seem like they're laborers.
Have we, like, done any searching for secret doors or anything like that?
I still have a passive 28 that I rolled earlier that I'm
Nothing.
trying to find.
Nothing seems to stand out to you yet.
I have a strong feeling it's on the other side of that door. That's just my gamer instincts, though.
I mean, it's up to you. I think just in general, like, Liska's not going to be the one that finds it. So, it's like if you want to.
But will it find Liska?
Maybe. She might be one of the things where, like, she gets tired of waiting, leans against a wall, and suddenly the wall, like, spins and she falls through it.
Scooby-Doo style.
Yeah. So yeah,
I mean,
passive
I
luck roll
bit,
for Liska. But yeah. So I mean, if we think that it's gonna be in, like, we don't think it's gonna be obvious, so it has to be places not obvious. So, like, if you think that because Takalia's outfit is enough to fool people walking by super close, like, there's nothing to say that showing up with a dwarf or something like that might cause alarm or anything of that nature. It's just,
I mean, if she's, I don't know, because these guys don't seem like they're set to be guards. The dude's literally a laborer raising dead. If another guy walks by with what visually would seem like it, I mean, it can't be a case of fight off the living because they're not undead themselves. So we might be able to get past. I think it would be a dragonborn necromancer that would have to notice and then issue, because they only follow the orders they were set to do and will only defend themselves. You know, unless there's some kind of special super intelligent undead, at which case they would then recognize the magical MacGuffin ring, which would also buy us out of trouble. I'm not saying that's our only option or necessarily the best one to take, but I think we don't have to treat this necessarily just as a combat. This is something that we might be able to socially get past. I mean, and that would keep our disguise going to the next situation where we may need it.
So, up to y'all. Again, this is not going to be like we. If you think it's in that room, then go explore, or we can just wait for the guy to come back out.
Yeah, I mean, we took time and put effort into our disguises, and they seem to be working, so why not use them?
So, show of hands then. Is anybody not okay with trying to bullshit our way past the situation?
I'm fine with trying. I'm just worried whether or not we're gonna get caught. Because once the disguise is up, it's up.
I mean, not if we murder the people who saw us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah. As long as we do it in time where they don't have the ability to alert anybody else, it wouldn't happen. We'll be okay. And if nothing else, we'll kick the pile of skeleton bones with the other pile of skeleton bones. And it's not necessarily a sign of scuffle. No one will know. The only thing is if...
ever know.
And it seems that the only people who can raise the alarms are the Dragonborns, because they're the ones carrying the signal horns.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't think this guy... He might be capable of combat, but I don't necessarily think that's his current orders that he's following. And we also all have the awakened amulets that we're wearing. So if that's one of his triggers, that's going to protect us. And we're also wearing the Ashbite signet rings, and I have the fancy Nogdor one too. So we have like layers on layers, and then reasonable beliefs on top of that of how undead work. And then we have turn undead.
It goes wrong.
So if anything goes wrong, we've got ways to cover ourselves. So I think the best thing we can do is ready ourselves, get into a good marching formation, and walk in like we own the place.
Yep, I agree. And like the only thing we really have to worry about with this plan is if the guy who sent this laborer off is just like, man, that bony boy's taking a while, and then they find something. That's the most worst case scenario here.
If a combat even happens.
If a combat even happens.
He left him here to work and fucked off.
Yep.
I don't think he's
what a lazy necromancer.
Yeah. He's not even overseeing.
Not even supervising. Right, so let's
so
just
I say
in, then.
we group up and we try and waltz in like we just own the place.
Yep.
That's what we've got all these bypassing the security items for.
But if I may make a recommendation. Time.
That's what I was just about to say. We group up.
Same brain.
Same brain.
Brain same.
Brain same. Same.
Alright, so as you plot and plan your next move, staking out in the ruins of these hovels outside of a rather intimidating mausoleum temple. Inside of the dwarfen city of the dead, Mortholme. We'll end the session there.
Yay.
Alright.
Sort of made progress.
Sort of. A lot of planning, but that's I suppose that's to be understood.
The planning for now was so we wouldn't waste time later.
Yeah. Alright, so unless everyone has anything to say, I'm going to stop recording.
I think that's it.
Alright.
Fuck necromancers.
Papa Bowie.
3,
Oh, Bowie.
2, 1.